Alright, fingers crossed everything stays where it is and doesn't fuck out.
Oh, well,
Say
be just our luck.
Say a prayer to the podcast gods. Please let us have a good, smooth podcast with no technical issues. Because we've had a few.
And the kinks, though?
Yep, it's all
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
What EP you up to now?
This will be the 8th one.
Shit.
Yeah, G.
That's mean.
Yeah, hard. It feels trippy as.
When did you start?
7 weeks ago.
Gee, oh, 1 a week.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, man, bro.
Yeah, I want to do 50 this year.
Yeah.
But I reckon I can. I want to do 50. That's all I'm going to say. Because I missed a couple of weeks at the start of the year, so I'm going to need to do a couple of double up weeks. But I'm recording 4 this week.
True.
Yeah.
Is it why we can never get each other?
Yeah, bro. It's because I set it up and I go, yeah, this is when the day's going to be, and then I talk to people, and then things happen, and then it's like, oh, okay, I can't do that day, and then you go, oh, what about tomorrow? And you go, nah, like,
Bro,
it's going to be next week.
Like, yeah, because I was listening to the Liam one, and I was like, how crack up is it? Because you guys are like, isn't it mean that we were just like, yeah, bro, that day's fine, and it was sweet. And then with me, it's like, oh yeah, bro, tomorrow, and then like, oh no, I can't make it, and then like, you can't make it, and that's just story of my life, bro. Like,
I appreciate you taking the time though, bro, because that's a valuable resource. So thank you for coming on and like coming to have a yarn and even just hanging out too. You know, it's kind of a 2 birds 1 stone with this, because I get to hit up people and be like, I haven't seen you in ages, and I know you're a good yarn, and like, do you want to come chat about this thing?
Yeah.
And it's so cool, bro, because then it's all the community, it's all the homies.
Bro, that was the best
know?
part. I like was straight away when I seen you post it. I was like, yo, that's 2 of the homies. Like, I don't have to listen to fucking Politics Rogan anymore. Like, and all this US bullshit, bro, that I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Like, now I can listen to the bros talk about the same shit we talk about.
Yeah.
It's way better.
The US stuff is interesting, eh? For me, it's almost like what it would be for a younger sibling to spend all its time talking about an older sibling's gossip, you know?
Yeah.
It's so far from relevant to us.
I know, and that's why I don't get it.
I mean,
Everyone's so caught up in it.
There is some aspects of it that, well, obviously, you know, them being a superpower and whatnot, it affects everybody. But yeah, I get both sides of it, and I think that the bigger law for us is just the fact that we are a younger country, and we do look up to other countries and see what and how and they're doing things, and the scale at which they're doing them is the biggest thing that amazes us, because we don't really have that many people. So when we see massive things going on with crowds of hundreds of thousands or even just thousands of people, we go, wow. But realistically, that's just a population thing. You know, they're doing the same thing we're doing. They're just throwing parties. But there's millions of people in their towns, and we've got millions in our whole country, you know. So it changes the scale at which you can produce those events, you know, and it makes it seem more popular or glamorous or attractive, but realistically it's just more people.
It's just numbers.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking everyone. It'd be all good if it just seems like everyone's so caught up with it. And then I like have a chat with someone and they're talking about whatever in the US kind of shit, and I'm like, bro, this has nothing to do with us. Like, no one's ever talked about a local politician to me or a fucking local entrepreneur or like
name some local politicians, bro.
Exactly. Like, fucking Baden Barber. It's the only cunt I know. Flex me.
Shout out Baden, holding it down.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just, and that's why I was like fully for your thing. I was like, man, one of the boys like from the Bay, doing his thing, like, and just doing it. You're not fucking. No rules, no fucking. The concept's here, but it's more of just a chat.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because I know that you can hammer down on it, and you can focus on talking about the ins and outs of food, water, and shelter being free, and try to really, I don't know, borderline write up an exact plan, you know? You can do that.
Yeah.
But the conclusion I came to before I started any of this is that this isn't a problem that has anything to do with whether or not it's a good idea. This is a problem of whether or not there's enough people that want to contribute towards it in order to make it a reality. Because it's that large of a scale of a concept that it doesn't matter whether it's the right idea. What matters is whether or not there's enough people that believe in it.
Do you reckon there's like not enough people in New Zealand to think? Because how you're saying it needs people to grow. I've just come across so many people that are like, well, why? Because it's not going to make a difference. Like,
Right, yeah.
it's not enough people to make. Like, hey, because you're talking about getting signatures in there, and it's like,
Yeah.
how many people like actually do that?
Well,
You know what I mean? I
yeah.
feel like it's a Kiwi attitude of like, oh, it's not going to fucking.
Yeah, bro, hard.
My say is not going to make a difference, but it fucking does. Like,
Yeah, might say is not going to make a difference. And it's a good way to put it, because a lot of the time people put it indirectly and they say, oh, well, nothing's going to change. Why? Because it never does. But you're right. It is a matter of whether or not you think your say has a weight behind it. And if you can believe in there being, a whole group of people that believe that, then you've got something on your hands. But you're right. That is the question. What's the ratio of people in New Zealand? Because that's where I'll be predominantly based for at least the next wee while. I don't know how long, at least this year. So the first 50 people I talk to or record myself talking to are going to be, and who knows, man, I could really double down on this and do even more than that. But over the next few years, it's going to go from talking to hundreds of people to talking to thousands of people. And by that point,
word would have spread. Like,
word would have spread.
I think it just needs to be in people's mind first, eh? Like,
Yeah.
and that's sort of what you're up to. Like.
That's what I'm up to.
I figured you out already.
You cracked it, bro. You've seen my secret, bro.
It's over now.
That's my motive behind all of it.
Yeah,
I'm just planting seeds.
Just plant the seeds.
Yeah, because I'm curious, man. I'm curious to see what people think and whether it grows. And sometimes you just have a quick conversation with somebody and you just see them immediately take that seed and put it in the bin, and then other times you see people take it and nurture it and like get a glow on and they go, whoa. It's pretty rare that people just dismiss it, but it's not. Whenever somebody dismisses it, I don't think, oh, that's a reflection of the conversation or that's a reflection of that person. I think that it's just a matter of
perspective almost. Like
perspective and timing. Because I don't think anybody's ignorant completely for all their life. I think that people learn based on experiences, and sometimes you haven't had the right combination of experiences for you to be open to certain concepts or ideas yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's a personal level, eh? Like how you get brought up depends how you're going to see the world, like
oh yeah,
all of that kind of stuff.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, eh? Started to think like only in the last few years, like your voice actually does matter, like, and I think it's from, I don't know, I'd say maybe even the COVID stuff, like people started thinking, well, fuck, like maybe I could actually have a say, Well, a lot of people didn't, they just bowed and took the chair or whatever they did, but
yeah,
it started opening my mind and being like, well, fuck nah, like I don't want to do that. And then it was like, well, I can actually vote for my local MPs, or I can actually like, if you're not, why are you yarning about if you're not doing anything about it? So
yeah,
tried that. I don't know, that last election went how it went, but it's just weird, eh? Like, it's such a weird world, but you can't actually run from it. Like, that whole play the game sort of buzz, and just never played the game, eh? Until like recently, really having kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, these cunts needs everything, like literally everything.
Yeah.
Can't do anything, so set them up makes me play the game.
Yeah.
It's an interesting game, just like fucking chess. Like,
the more you learn about it, the more you realise that some other people have been playing it for way longer than you have.
Yeah.
And that there's levels and different versions of it that everybody's playing. And that's why I have to, bro, because that line of thought gets super overwhelming for me in a very short amount of time.
Fuck yeah.
When I think about the mechanics of the way everything runs, I'm like, whoa, dude.
It's too much.
Have you heard of that Dunbar number of how many close connections a person can kind of have before they're sort of maxing out their capacity in terms of in-depth relationships? So it's said that you can have
Was it 90?
Yeah, it's like 90 to
Yeah.
100 close, you know, people or friends in your life. And even within that, there's sort of a spectrum of how close you are with those people.
Yeah.
But, you know, the reason I brought it up is because if we're as individuals sort of tapping out at around 100, you know, maybe you could have a village of like 1,000 people that you sort of know of or get along with or have enough connections within that you can get by, you know. But there's 8 billion of us, which is a lot more than 100 or 1,000. In fact, it's, you know,
Astronomically bigger than
yeah, astronomically bigger. And that's why I think it's an obvious conclusion to come to emotionally and logically when you as an individual decide or are put in a position where you have to start playing the game, that it's overwhelming when you pay attention to what that actually means, because you're like, far out.
Yeah, where do you even start? Like,
Yeah.
and then once you start, you can't stop. So, and I've just never been keen to start, eh?
Nah.
I mean, like, I don't know, the property stuff, because that's like mainly the start usually, eh? Once you tap in a property, you're in the game. You have to have insurances and shit. And just never been one for any of that, eh? And then looking at it differently now, I'm just like sort of trying to do it my way, but you almost can't. You know, like, why do I have to have fucking insurance for a house? I get it, yeah, if this, if that, but like, maybe I just save that $80 I'm paying you,
Yeah.
and then when something does happen, I'll have a fuckload more money than if I was paying you. Because even when you get your insurances and shit, you still pay excess and like.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, actually, the wind was blowing south that day, so
we
can't pay you out. It doesn't count if it's a southerly.
Yeah. Well, that was like the Parkify thing. Where they were like, oh, sorry, that was a natural event. We can't cover anymore.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama around that, man.
It was fucked.
It's pretty tough going.
Do you know? Oh, you were in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were on that fucking truck, eh?
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Yeah, it was my birthday too.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Thanks,
that would have been
bro.
a good one.
It was a hell of a gift to wake up to, a cyclone from God.
And then every year, kind of be in remembrance.
Yeah. Crosses my mind for sure, at least once, you know.
Oh, shit.
It was,
Is that Valentine's?
Yeah, bro.
You're born on Valentine's?
Yeah.
Hey.
Valentine's, baby. Yeah, man, it was pretty wild. It's good to know that I kind of act cool in that situation, though. I was pretty calm about it all.
Yeah.
Not too calm.
Didn't you just go from being on the house roof to a truck?
Yeah, so we woke up, put all our stuff in the attic, and then had to climb up to the house. And then Charlie had meal prepped like a week's worth of meatballs, G. And so we were just smashing these meatballs on the roof, bro, like periodically jumping under a blown up air mattress to cover ourselves from the rain that would come and go. And then, we smoked a little, we drank a little. And then some Tim and Matt from, what was it, something construction. I want to say like, I don't know. They were champions, bro. Yeah. Real good dudes, and they came in with the digger, and we pushed Millie out on the air mattress because she couldn't swim, and got on the digger, and then drove down the road, and then the digger got put on the back of the trailer, and then we were in the truck, and then that truck was like 4 or 5 meters, and by the time we got down Parkify Road 3/4 of the way, the water came over the sides of the truck, so we had to stand on top of the cab. And then that was about the time where I started to lose my
Fuck, you'd be like, yo, we're getting saved.
Yeah. And then there's a boat coming, bro. A boat driving up and down Clive Road on the water. And we had to jump into it because it couldn't stop anymore because it had too many punctures. So we just had to jump from the truck into the boat and then
Hectic, bro.
Yeah, it was, man.
Fucking glad everyone made it out, eh?
Same.
I had an auntie and uncle on that Parkify Road, that Boysenberry farm.
Oh, yeah.
And they got airlifted out. Not fucking in their 70s, eh? Like,
fuck.
Yeah, no good.
I'm glad they got out, bro.
Yeah, it was sort of wretched. They're like gearing up to sell.
Oh,
and their section was worth probably M's, bro. Like, quite a big section. So.
Yeah. And they just got rolled.
Yeah. Now they're just with their daughter now. Like, yeah. I don't know. It's just how it works, I guess. I see they're all cropping it again, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, man. You can't ever predict all of those sort of crazy things, and it affects so many people. And in terms of our infrastructure and support for people, it's always going to be a nightmare. But it's not a nightmare because they can't afford to, you know, re-buy all of their fancy clothes and stuff. It's because they don't have a house to live in.
Yeah.
It's not because they lost the car. It's because, they can't afford food because they now have to pay for all of this stuff to get the house sorted. It's like, and that's what I was going to bring it back to before about getting lost in all those complicated things. That's why I landed on the food, water, shelter thing, because I've spent heaps of time just in my own brain asking myself these questions about the world, because I don't know, I'm a fixer. I know there's a lot of people that are fixers, and I wanted to come up with something that made sense to me, that seemed like the most simple version of it that I possibly could. And I've tried to boil it down to what relieves the most pressure for people, and that would be the biggest relief, because it also causes the most pressure. You're not gutted because you can't afford the holiday, You're gutted because you're just affording rent, and you've got to eat like shitty food like 2-minute noodles for lunch instead of like a sandwich, because you don't have enough. It's like, and people are in real handy situations, way handier than I've ever been in my life, and that's enough for me to be like, well, if I've felt like I've had hardships and people have it harder than me on average, then we should probably do something about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, yeah.
I don't know, it's like coming from like struggle, because we're like poor as fuck growing up. I just think there's like a level of struggle, but this is because this is how I was raised. Struggle, so I just see it, I don't know, differently. I'm like, without struggle, like, what is there to gain? List some of your favorite athletes and musicians and shit. Where do they come from? All had struggle. Like,
Yeah.
where would the drive begin?
Yeah.
If everything basic was sorted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't disagree that it's an integral part right now of the current model we have, in terms of your motivation, because you're pressured and it's hard. But I also believe that, like you said, athletes, superstars, rock stars, whatever, that do all those sorts of things, if it was as simple as everyone that gets to a certain level of success is then happy, and now they're like, they've suffered and now they don't have to suffer anymore. It's like, if that's the case, then so many people would just drop off constantly, which I guess a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But people that stick through and play basketball till they retire and all of those sorts of things, they're actually putting themselves in a place of suffering intentionally because they want to grow from the suffering.
Yeah.
They're not getting more suffering than they need to, but they are applying more than they have to because they know that that's what creates the results that they want,
Yeah.
Going through pain. And the reason that's important and it's a difference is because it's a choice. It's not like somebody's waking Kobe up every morning, or was waking Kobe up every morning, telling him he has to go to the gym,
Shouts Kobe, yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace. And that's the thing. It's if you can see that people have enough pressure on themselves to go and get food and get shelter and get water for their family, they're also going to have that same pressure applied to themselves without those things there to get their family a nice car or a fucking better clothes or all of that sort of stuff. It's not like everything's free. It's just those three things. So you still have to work and shit.
But wouldn't that just drive more consumerism?
Yeah.
Because then you'd be like, well, I got food, I'll just get a better phone.
If that's what you want to spend your money on.
Yeah.
But that's your choice though. You don't have to become a consumerist, bro. You don't have to dive right in there and spend every spare penny you have. But ultimately, that's not a bad thing for the economy or for, people's life experiences. But in terms of ecology and, how the environment will feel about there being way more stuff that's being bought and sold and used and thrown away, that's probably not that great. But that's a different issue. You know, that's something that we're already battling that doesn't actually. It's not as if doing this or not doing this affects the fact that that's still happening.
Yeah.
You know, it is. So we're tidying that up by, you know, I don't know, cardboard straws and shit like that.
Cardboard straws, fucking turtles, bro.
Recycling, you know?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because if you, okay, like hypothetical, do it for yourself. You've now got all of your basic needs, like your house, you don't pay rent or a mortgage, it's sussed. You get your staple food, so meat, milk, bread, fruit and veg, that's all heavily subsidized or completely free, and everything else you have to pay for. And, you know, free, clean water. You know, that's now a normal part of your life. Do you feel like you've lost the pressure that you need to like get up in the morning and get after it and do stuff? Do you feel like now you don't have it?
A little bit.
A little bit? Yeah,
A
well,
little bit. Too
maybe
comfortable.
you needed it a little
Well,
bit
I've never.
less.
Yeah. I think I'd need more struggle than the average. Like,
Yeah.
just I'd almost thrive in it. Like I'd be way less stressed if I had a lot less money right now. You know, like because then I'd be like, man, I can build some money. But I'm not saying I have money at all because I don't. But
Yeah.
having shit, I'm just like, what do I do? I'm not striving to do anything.
Do you think you'd put yourself under more pressure if you didn't have those three things? Like you would do more work or buy bigger things that you had to pay off, or do something to create that pressure that you know that you need to get.
What does
What you
that
want?
equate to? So would you still have a job?
Yeah, I assume most people still have jobs. I think it'd
still
just
have a
be
job.
you don't have to work as much, or you know you can kind of afford to.
Not working as much would be dope.
Yeah, so like you could do 4 days, you know, or 3, and you'd still be able to afford
3, yeah.
everything that you need,
That's
and
the
you're still
goal.
working, you know. So there's still pressure for sure, you know. Kids need school bags and books and all that sort of shit, diapers.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'd do. I'd spend a lot of more time with my kids. Like,
That's a beautiful thing.
That's all I've been trying to do, bro. Like, it's just amazing, like getting to watch them grow, and they're you, like, you know, they really are you. And I think my kids saved me in a lot of ways. Like, just needed something, a direction, you know.
Yeah.
And I never really had one. So now I've sort of like, I think I've just come to terms with everything and just been like, well, like this is it. Start. So I don't know. It's what else could I do for them though? You know, besides just save them more money and give them more money. But I'd rather give them time. Like,
100%.
so
Time is a way more valuable resource.
I always say, like, at least if she grows up, she's never going to be able to be like, well, fuck you, you were always around. That's not an argument, is it? Like,
yeah.
I was fucking there. Like,
Fuck
I was
you,
always
Dad.
there for you.
You always love me and spend
Yeah.
time with me. No wonder I'm the way I am.
Yeah, exactly. Though.
Yeah.
But
That's the best one, man.
so,
And
yeah.
I think that's a good argument for the concept, you know. Parents getting to spend more time with their kids, that doesn't sound like a bad thing to me.
It's not like every parent wants to, though.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
not,
mean,
you know, that's a fucking harsh reality as well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
some things happen and, you know, whatever, but I'd definitely like it. But I don't know what I would be striving for if I wasn't striving for basics. Like,
Yeah. Isn't that a good thing, though? In a way?
how?
Well, I think, to put it in terms of life, I think it makes people more like kids again because they're not having to provide the basics. They can just go on the adventure and play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, you could just play, bro. You can paint, you do, you
I
play,
do a
bro.
fucking lot of shit.
You're
yeah.
a playful guy. You got lots
Yeah.
of things you like to do. Don't act like you wouldn't find something to
Oh, fuck,
spray
I'll definitely
paint or
fill the
fucking-
time. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, and that's, bro, because that's the good stuff, man.
Yeah,
I think so, anyway. That's real life, man.
I guess, yeah,
Activities.
like when it frees all the time up, because time is seemingly like a currency I don't have much of anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's one that I'd like to gain some more from, so That would be good, the time thing, but yeah, I'll definitely fill it.
This is what your sort of the vibe you're giving me at the moment reminds me of Wilsey. He said it would be a lot easier physically, but a lot harder mentally. He said because it's not like get up and go because you have to. Because if you don't get that, people don't have food on the plate, and the house doesn't have the lights on. But then now instead it's like, okay, we'll get up and go so that okay you can have all the extra things. It's like, but the basics are already provided for. So
I guess then you could start playing around with different aspects of life, like
yeah.
rather than struggling for the basics, you could be looking at toys, property,
Yep. Bro, you could
fucking
study.
land, like study. Yeah, you could do all those things.
Yep. You could travel. Tiki tours. You could do more long weekends away with the family, going to different beaches and stuff.
Do you reckon though, like they're sort of already doing it in a way of like the KO homes, right?
What's that?
Kaingora.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you got like that.
That's all
so
emergency
government
housing, eh?
Government
Yeah.
housing.
It's
yeah,
government
so,
housing and emergency
So
housing.
you got that, and then when you think of like the fucking free food they give you, bro, it's disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember? Oh, fruit in schools was all good, but like milk in schools, that shit would be warm as fuck.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to obviously have stuff around it to be like, make sure it's
Would
good
it be
shit.
good food?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, better
I'm not
be.
signing up for free bad food. That's just that's not anything anybody wants. Why would you do that? I understand how that's been something that's happened a lot in history because people will like dangle the carrot and they're like, yeah, look, free food. It's like mean. All right, let's produce a bunch of slop,
Okay then, well,
send it out. It's like, come on, no, not this time.
who would do the jobs no one wants to do if they? Because those people must, well, maybe not must. They might like it, but
Yeah, well,
most of the time, are they just doing it to provide?
Yeah, but what? But not only provide. Like, what happens when you have a real shit job? What happens when you have a really shit job? Like, what do plumbers get paid? You know, they get paid good fucking money, bro, because it's a shit job. So
true.
you none of that leaves this equation. It's not like, oh, okay, well now, because those basics are looked after, nobody's gonna do shit jobs and get paid heaps to do them. It's like, yeah, they are, because they get paid heaps and now they have to spend less on groceries, so they're just getting more of their money.
True.
I mean,
that's true.
arguably, and from a point of view of money, there's obviously, and this is getting into more of a logistics than a feeling side of it. But yeah, there needs to be some sort of way that the money's being fed through the system. So it would be, hopefully you'd be able to set it up in a way where you can kind of stagger it so it's a tax, but it's a gradual tax and over generations, decades at a time. It goes from being fully priced for certain people to half price for some people to free for other people, and
then you get people that are like, why is it free for them?
Because it's a fucking. Otherwise, the economy would turn to shit by trying to flip a switch.
But they don't know that.
That's what you explain. That's what you
They're
explain to people, though, bro.
They
It's
might
like,
not. They'll be like, nah.
yeah, but if people are like, nah, then it's not going to happen. So you don't have to explain it to them because they didn't agree to it. It's like, bro, you imagine if you're getting 50% off of all food and someone's getting it for free, you're going to be like, it's like, yeah, there'll be people that are like that, but they're not going to be the most popular or the majority of people because that's a stupid perspective to have.
Yeah.
And most common sense, like having people would agree, it's. But I don't know. That's the thing. That's also the point of it, is I can look at it from a perspective of, I've got a great idea and now all I have to do is talk to just enough people to make it happen. Or I can look at it from the perspective of, I have an idea and I'm going to talk to a bunch of people and there's a chance that, most of them are going to say, this is insane. You're crazy. What are you doing? That's not how shit works,
Yeah, but that's a conversation, though. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing or agreeing with anyone. Like,
exactly.
it's the basis of the idea of the seed.
Yeah.
Some days you don't get rain, But
yeah, you got it. I love this conversation, bro.
It definitely, I don't know. It's just so hard for me to imagine a world without any struggle. And that's just me, bro. It's always been my life, so
Yeah.
I would create fucking struggle, bro. Like, I
Yeah,
would
humans will, bro.
fucking create
We'll
it.
find ways to make life
Already
hard.
do, yeah.
That's what we do. I'm just saying, let's do this one. And then I think it's probably the last step
It would
before we're
definitely
like,
nurture a lot more artists and stuff.
exactly, bro.
Because, you know, artists in the learning about in the last few years, I'm like, fuck man, like it's an amazing thing. And where does everyone loves a Banksy or a fucking Kendrick or whatever kind of art, but they don't know like the beginning steps of art suck.
Yeah.
You don't get paid for anything for a
No.
long time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure you did gigs for fuck all, like $100 or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
do
you
gigs
know,
for
and
free.
for free, you know, shit
Yeah.
like that. So it definitely nurture that a lot more. A lot of more creatives coming out. And how many people want to do that but just don't have the time? Like, there's people out there that are amazing, bro. They just don't have the time to like sit down, refine the skill.
Couldn't have put it better myself, man. I think that's what it's all about, you know? Giving people the time to pursue those things. Because it's not like it would be a bad thing to have more people pursuing what they really care about.
Mm.
Not to mention, a lot of people that genuinely have a mind for things that could contribute towards the world in some sort of way, in a more authentic way to them, you know? There's something special about that. You're always going to put more energy into something that you love, you know?
Yeah.
And when you allow more people to have time to do that, I think it would be very interesting to see the way not only it affects the productivity of a lot of people, but also whether it improves just overall mood, you know?
If
Because
everyone's a bit happier.
yeah, because I mean, you know, if you're spending your day doing what you want to do, then when you're having those little automatic ant-like interactions, you know, when you're just bumping into random people on the street and not really paying attention, you'll probably have that little bit more juice to smile or to say hello or say
That's what
have
I
a good
always
day.
loved about New Zealand, bro, was you could walk down the street, see some cunt,
Yeah.
and just laugh at each other for no reason. I've done it heaps.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that 2020 time just took it a bit away. Like,
Yeah, you reckon?
a lot, bro. Like, a lot of people nowadays, I don't really interact with people on the streets like you used to, you know?
Yeah.
Me and some dude just laughed at each other because we were caught in the rain once.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's New Zealand, like, you know?
Yeah.
But people don't even look up. They're either looking at their phone or they're going somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
no one's got the time to give a fuck. So
Yeah, I get what you mean, man.
we're all still there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people ask for directions. We're a pretty good country. We'll help everyone out. But just like, yeah, that extra, that little bit that made it sweet, you know, sort of like, I think, diminished a little bit.
You got to be a source of it too, though. You know, like you got to get out there and just talk to random people on the street. I found. I know it sounds crazy. I've found a few times from just I don't know how to put it, but I have a resting face. You know, it could be a bit of a bitch face, but it's just my resting face. It's pretty expressionless.
Yeah.
And I'll drive past or walk past people and like look, because that's what we do. We just check each other out because that's all there is to do around here.
Yeah.
So I look, and then they look back, and it's nothing, and it's weird, and I'm thinking they look real, like strange or angry.
And now you're frowning at them.
And then,
and
but
they're
I'm
frowning
exactly.
Yeah.
But as soon as I smile and I say "chert," like a switch flicks in their brain, and they go, "Oh, human interaction," and they engage their face muscles, and they go, "Oh, hi, hey,"
Yeah.
and then you go, "Oh, sweet, okay, everyone's all good. We were just on."
Both concentrating
Standby,
together.
like on the freaking in between light, the neutral, just coasting, and then you kick it into gear as soon as you see someone. You're like, oh, hello. You're like, that's
Bro,
right, another human.
my mum's so bad for that. Well, not, I can't even say bad because it is a good thing. And I only realised this a few years ago, like, can't even go to Pack and Save, bro, and she'll just talk to every cunt, like the checkout lady, everyone.
Yeah.
And I always used to get annoyed with it, and then I just realised, fuck, that's her. Like, and
Yeah,
if someone did that to me on the street, a nice old lady, it'd probably make your day. It's probably making a lot of days, and here I am, like, hurry up.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Oh, just let her be. Like.
Bro, it is. We can't get enough of those people, man.
And she's so human. Like,
Yeah,
she's like everything. It's real, like, vulnerable and strong at the same time. So it's a good, I don't know, just watching her life as well as me growing. She's going through heaps of changes, and it's cool to watch. Like, the difference. You know, a lot of people, even my kids now, like they know her as her now, and I'm like, fuck, you don't know the old her. Like, you know,
Yeah.
she wasn't always this nice, but
It's cool to recognise that parents are people too, eh?
oh yeah,
Just growing up and
Yeah.
learning as they go as well.
and I guess like she wasn't not nice. She was teaching me because the
Yeah.
way I teach is the same. It's not nice, but it's just how I know. It's like this is how I teach,
Yeah.
and it's a bit stern, but fuck, it's just sort of how it works, eh?
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I'm just coming to realise she's just trying to teach me, but
Mm. Yeah, parents different, that's for sure. Because people's different.
yeah, hard.
They all communicate differently. But it's good to, I can hear a lot of love for your mum, and the way you speak about her, and I'm the same. And
You met my mum, eh?
huh?
You met my mum?
I don't know if I
Maybe at
have.
my birthday. Oh,
What's your
no,
mum's
I
name?
can't remember. Barmody.
Oh, was she at the last spaceship?
Yes.
Yeah, G.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we
I
go.
did meet
There
her.
we go.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, bro, she's beautiful.
Yeah, bro.
She pulled me aside.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yo, that was
amazing.
that was amazing." Yeah, she's like, "You guys are great," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, we had heaps of yarns, bro."
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I didn't know that was your mum. Oh, cool.
And she stokes on that stuff, bro, because she's never like really got out like that. Like,
Yeah.
always been part of a small family, small crowd. Like, so when I met Sophie, and we'd just take her out to, Walk of Wonders or this or that. She
Yeah.
just like can't believe it. She's never seen it.
Yeah,
And it's
she's
right
like,
in
"This
her
stuff's
backyard."
happening."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
because she knows Cam from when we were young, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, there's Cam up there."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yes, bro."
Yeah.
Doing it, man. Like,
That was a cool little leaving gig, that one.
yeah, that was good, bro. It was end of an era, eh? Like,
Yeah.
we actually just had the bros leaving do at Common before this, and just seeing how different that is too.
Was it just like today?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
cool.
It's cool to see what they've done and like opening it up, and
Yeah.
then Space, I think, must have sold because
The what?
Spaceship must have sold, I think, or leased
Oh, yeah.
again because someone was in there.
Yeah, I spoke to a guy. I'm pretty sure his name was Jordan, and he said that they had plans, bro.
No.
They had plans, and I can't remember exactly what they were, but I'm pretty sure it was based around getting people in, and there being sort of a communal space again. Same sort of
yeah.
buzz around art
Yeah.
and music and stuff. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember thinking that sounds freaking awesome.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see it get put to a bit more use, eh? Like,
Yeah.
I think that was a lot at the time to deal with, like,
Yeah,
Great.
well, far out. Soph did amazing, man. She,
Yeah,
carried the weight, and it was also, obviously a whole community of people around her, and everyone made it what it was, and it's just like common, which is obviously what it is now, but it's cool to have been a part of what it was during that era.
Yeah,
It's a real special part
yeah,
of
you got
us.
to see it.
I got
You
just
to
the
see it,
end
bro.
of it,
Just the
man.
end.
Just snuck in and got the last
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
good community, eh? Like,
Amazing, bro. Like so many of my best friends, lifelong friends that I've met at Common,
Yeah.
either because they've worked there or
yeah.
or because they're just around there.
Takes a special bunch to even be there, eh? Like,
Oh yeah.
you get some straight laced cuzzies and they're like, "Fuck, that place is weird, bro." You're like, "Nah, it's just a bit different."
Bro,
Like,
have a
don't be
roosters.
scared.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Have a roosters, pack up by the fire pit. You'll be fine.
You'll be right, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, bro. I'm stoked you guys got to do what you got to do there. And
Yeah. It's been a pretty cool journey, man.
you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah, we're gonna do one at Easter at Rarahi with Damon. He's doing a little festival, and then I think we're trying to line one up in Rosemary's and Taupo, and then there's one more in the mix that hasn't been confirmed. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that one, but it's in the next few weeks. But yeah, it's all pretty wishy-washy, sort of just working around people being away and stuff. Huey's going back to Aussie for a bit. So yeah, but it's cool though, man, because we're all kind of getting better at just doing what we need to do for ourselves while also communicating and making sure that we can be where we need to be when we need to be there and do what needs to be done, whether it be practice or play or both, you know. And
That trip down south looked
that was
fucking cool,
unreal.
bro.
It was honestly, it was a teleport. Like I teleported to another universe, bro. That was some of the most beautiful landscapes and people that I've ever been inside of, in terms of this
The
little
people or the mountains?
beautiful in both ways, bro. And
Yeah.
it was just a basin, you know, just surrounded in mountains, and you couldn't see out of it. And just a 3-layer festival with like 4 different stages, and so much good energy, man. And I just arrived just after having been in Dublin, bro, with an hour before our set, which was an incredible save.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, jumped in the river and then jumped on stage and smashed it, and then just sent it for the next 3 days, and then did a after party show at Roots Bar in Takaka, and then came back after, and man, it was like a movie the whole time.
Hard.
It was so wild to
They're
be
the best
on
moments,
tour.
like you and the bros on the road.
Yeah, just
And you
hanging
just-
out.
You live it, and then like look back on it thinking, fuck, some of those are the best times ever. Like.
Mm.
And I guess because you're just living it in the moment, like
Yeah,
you've got to go. Everyone's like, oh, we're going here for this, and you all go together, go do your thing. But the moments in between, I feel like, are the best parts.
yeah, this is what we're talking about here, man. This is the whole point of the conversation concept, is freeing up more time for that for people, man, because that's living, that's not surviving, you know. And I think that's the 2 modes we're talking about here, is surviving life or living life. And a lot of people survive life, man, and that's handy. Like, I have so much respect for parents and grandparents, bro, past, that have provided and survived for their whole life and not really left there where they live or pursued any of their hobbies or passions beyond a beer on the weekend or the pokies or something like that. You know, it's like people
Their
that have
life
really
is
had
just,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living,
Yeah. Which
looking
is
after a couple people.
which is
and that their
incredible
whole
and a
life.
beautiful
Yeah.
life, bro. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If anything, I'm saying more of that, you know?
Yeah.
More of that. Like, less time away at work providing for the life that you come home to. That, you know, think about it in mathematically, bro. You sleep for 8 hours.
Oh, you
You've
get
got
no
8
time,
hours
yeah.
at work, and then what? You got 4 hours either side with
Yeah,
your family. How much of that is spent actually sitting and being, you know?
Fuck all, bro.
Fuck all, bro.
I try to take my kid to like the warehouse because that's the only shop open after work. You know, like, or Kmart or something. It's like,
It's
it's the
always
only thing we can do. Like,
It's actually a main adventure as a kid.
oh
though.
yeah.
You're like,
Fuck yeah.
holy shit.
It's mate. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
seeing new shit for the first time. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Put that one back.
Yeah. Put that one back.
You can get the sales venue out. You don't need another. Yeah.
I love that, bro. That's so good. Instinctual way. Put that one back.
It's just crack up because they're children, so they're like experiencing everything and they don't know concepts of anything.
Yeah.
So like you give them toys and they're like, cool. And then you take them to a shop and they're like, try and take it home. You're like, no. And they're like, why? Because we don't own it. And they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
You
What are
usually
you
give me toys
talking
and now it's
about?
mine. Like you give
Yeah.
me this, I can't have it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Social constructs that just don't exist within their world yet, eh?
No. And it's cool because they're so like raw. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just stare at you if you fucking are you.
Yeah.
If they don't know you, they'll stare at you.
Look at you
Fucking-
existing, eh?
Yeah. She's like, who the fuck is this at my house?
I've said this a few times, and I'll continue to say it until somebody you know what, I'm just going to continue to say it. I think that kids just remind me of a really intense acid trip in reverse. So it's like, as a
reverse.
baby, they're completely tripping balls. Like, they can't move. Like, they can't. They just shit and they cry and they, you know, and then they start to crawl and they can kind of grab stuff, but not really. And they can't really eat solid food yet. They sort of still need to just be like fed stuff. and like have their ass wiped, and then they start to walk, but they can't quite talk yet. They're just sort of crawling around, and then they like come out of it and they get to the point where they can talk again. But by that point, when you're at the talking phase, you're still tripping major balls. So like everything's amazing. It's like
Yeah,
you
true. Now you can just communicate a bit.
yeah, you can just bring stuff up to people and go, look at this. This is crazy. And then people grab it and they're like, oh yeah, cool. Like, this guy's fucking tripping balls, you know? Like, and then you're on this loop, and then you slowly like level down to what I would consider to be some sense of sobriety, or at least control or awareness or grip of the ride when you know start to come out of your teenage years, and you're like, whoa, like this is actually a crazy trip. Because even before that, during your teenage years, that's when you're sort of like exploring really complex ideas, but you're still a kid and you still have so much of like context in terms of like what's a reasonable amount of energy to put into how much you care about what somebody else does, you know, like things like that take time to learn. Like, how do you deal with heartbreak or grief, you know, like those things change the way you perceive the world and all sorts of stuff. What do you do when you got no money but you're hungry? Like, these things really shape people, and are sort of things that'll shake you out of that fully acid trip version of childlike living. But I think that in terms of fascination and enjoyment and being in a moment and being in awe of that moment, it's still extremely attainable as an adult, but only when you have that free time to be amazed and enjoy and sit around and just like soak something up, you know, or like allow yourself the time to, in whatever way that is for you, you know, like painting or fishing or whatever it might be that you do, that you're just like, this is fun, you know, and you can see it. Like when I see grown men with cars, bro, and they're just like little boys being like, you're like, oh yeah, it goes fast, does it? And it's like, bro, this shit goes so fast. And it's
listing off like 42E 6.4 and you're like, yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, bro.
True, does it have a pod filter?
Yeah.
Fuck,
man.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I think it's still in there, but yeah, I don't know. You're watching a kid grow up, man. I'm sure you know there's some connection there. Obviously, it's a bit of a joke at the same time, but I just think from watching my own niece and nephew and other kids grow up and watching them at the different stages, I'm like, man, I can't help but compare the way that you're interacting with the world and what it is like when I've seen my friends on drugs. You know, I'm like, it's very similar. There's a lot of connections there.
I feel like almost people that do acid or any like psychedelics, you're looking for something, right?
Right.
You get to that point, and if you're consciously taking it, unless you're fucked up, you're wasted, and you're like, yeah, all good, I'll take it.
You're still going to find something.
Yeah, so if you're there and you're like, I know what acid is, or I know what mushrooms are, and I'm going to take them, you're like accepting your fate in a way. You're like, I'm here for this reason. And most of the time that's to think differently, have an ego death, like go back, almost like a reset.
Big time.
A reset, bro. And I'd say like the last time I did mushrooms, I couldn't let go, eh?
Of
like,
what?
Just the ego death. I thought I was gonna die. Yeah, you always get that, oh, I'm gonna die. Like,
yeah.
But I was fully just like in the bath, fucking shower on, vaping, just like, I can't fucking die. Like, I can't die. And I was just, the trip was just like, I can't die because I don't want my fucking kid to roll up here and I'm dead in the bath.
Yeah.
And so I just never let it go. And then it takes like 8 hours to come out of it. And I was like, well, that sucked. Like, and that was probably my first bad trip ever.
Yeah.
And I think it was just me not being ready to like
let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my kid grounds me so much, I need to be there for her. Like, it's just different now. Like, everything's so different.
I can't say I can relate or understand, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
It's a different thing when you have a kid, man.
But it's cool to, see the differences. I mean, like, I know what you mean about the acid thing. It's crack up. Because it is almost, and like, you need I don't know, with me anyway, like, you got to brush that work off, like that work mindset and that thinking about all these things. When you actually are playing with them, you just got to like forget about it. Like, fuck this, and like actually play. Once you start running alongside your kid and you're laughing, like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like actually let go of all of that to be in the moment.
Yeah. Which is an interesting thing to consider in terms of general people's mindsets and where they're at, you know, to be able to have to sort of switch off and go back to, oh, that's right, we're actually here to just muck around, you know, and make a mess of it and
Figure it out as you go.
yeah, giggle and fall over, you know, and then keep going. And that's why kids are such a necessary part of reminding people to, you know, remember that this is all a bit of a muck around, and we are just a bunch of kids that got bigger and played with bigger toys and started making bigger messes, you know. Some kids got mad at each other and just never forgave one another.
Yeah, fuck.
And it just, you know, when you're an adult, the collateral damage is just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Like it was a smidge.
Yeah, what a weird way to... I don't know, it's making a little bit more sense. Like, I guess I don't offload the struggle though, or the stress. Like, I'm just thinking like in the way of, so the concepts like food, water and that.
Mm-hmm.
And if my kid had all that, she would probably be different than I am, right? Obviously. And it would probably be nicer. Like then she'd go on to be like, well, we don't have to worry about these things. And maybe her kids, they can all fucking play more. Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's just the drive, bro, that gets me. It's the drive, it keeps coming back.
I think that if you're that worried about it, it's not going anywhere, you know? Like,
yeah.
You're always going to have that itch as a person with that itch, you know? It's not
problem
like...
solving's, I think, humans, do you reckon?
Yeah.
You just need problems to solve, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're trying to do as well. We're trying to solve some problems.
Yeah.
And like, I settled on plumbing pretty much because, again, sorry to say it, but I had my kid and then I realised, fuck, I need a piece of paper that says I have a job forever.
Yeah.
So I started, randomly, my mate was like, oh, bro, try this. And I just thought of plumbing. I've never done any of it. I've done heaps of shit, but never that. Tried it. And as soon as I walked into the plumbing wholesaler out, I was like, holy fuck, there's so much shit here.
Yeah.
And you do like drains, plumbing, gas, and there's fucking whatever. And by the time you get round all these different jobs, it's like almost not infinite, but it's very, very sparse.
Yeah.
So I could be like breaking concrete in the morning and then at night like penetration for a roof, like completely different. And I think those problem solving concepts like within that trade kept me active. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I'm like always trying to figure shit out forever. Yeah. Like, because I feel like that's where I went wrong. Not went wrong, but just left a few other careers because I was like, well, I've learned everything here.
You weren't challenged enough.
Yeah, there's not enough to think about. Like, I've learned it all and that's it.
Yeah.
Now all you can do is make a business in that. But I'd rather have a job where I'm like, I actually have to be engaged all day, like think all the time.
Yeah. I think that's also, it's definitely not predominantly one sex or the other, but I think I've found it more commonly in guys where they're like, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have work. Like, this is the thing that, as much as they'll also at the same time be like, fucking hard day or this or that or whatever, like, guys I've found most often, in my personal experience, I see getting the most, like, life force out of work. You know, they do it and they come home and they're like, yeah, I just did that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not that, obviously, like, women do it as well and have the same, like, you know, benefits and work just as hard, but from my experience, it's like a lot of guys are really independent on those tasks that seem real, like a pain in the ass, really. You know, you're like, fuck, like,
how are we gonna figure this out?
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like I'm smashing up concrete all day or like trying to problem solve, and I get to the end of it and I'm exhausted, and my part of me is like, yeah, you are. You know? You are. You like that, don't you? You know. Whereas, like, I think ladies are a bit more like, fuck it, it's over, feet up, you know, like gangster. It's like rest and, you know. Yeah. And I mean, that's also, if you look at it on a historical level of, you know, there being gender roles and there being the guy going out and doing the big missions and the ladies at home doing all the stuff that tidies everything up. It's like, well, of course you'd be more of a homebody if that's what generations past have done,
Yeah.
you know, in those gender roles. So it makes sense that there's more of that sway in my own experience from what I've seen. But it's a real trippy thing, man, to get that amount of like good energy from something that initially you might have gone into thinking, I don't know if I can be bothered with this, you know, this is going to be a lot of mahi. But like you say, you come out of it feeling as though you've put in a good amount of work and you've gotten value for that, and your time has been spent well, and you've output energy. And then when you get to the end of those days, you're like, man, I did something good. And when you don't do that, which I don't know what your experience is in that, but like you were saying before, you know, when you have a job that doesn't challenge you enough, you can be left at the end of your days just feeling like you're wasting your time and you're not achieving anything and you're kind of just wasting away. And it's bizarre when you're spending the same amount of time technically still doing the same thing, you're working, but when that work isn't something that's quite giving you enough of a challenge or too much of a challenge, whatever, it's not hitting that sweet spot, that's when you're like, you know, you experience those moments in life where you feel like you need to change, you know, and get a new thing and try something different. Man, I gotta admit, I just did it then. I just went on a mad rant, and a lot of it was around the fact that like I have a general perspective about like a fucking like my experience with like males being a certain way, and I just have this like crazy cancel culture PC gremlin jump on my head being like, make sure you cover all your bases here, buddy, because you don't want to sound like anyone, you know, you don't want to sound like a certain way and get in trouble. It's like, I hate that, bro. I wish I could just
say it, eh?
Yeah, I don't
what
have
you
any
feel
disrespect or hate for anybody, bro. I'm chilling. I want everybody to have everything they need, you know? I'm all about it. So it's like, when I have perspectives on a way in which certain people are or whatever, it's like, fuck.
As soon as you say woman, they're like listening now.
Yeah,
They're
bro.
listening,
It's
you're
like,
why?
fuck. You see the alarm bells ringing and fuck.
Yeah.
I get so scared. I got nothing but love and appreciation, man. It's like, obviously, I'm out here trying to make everybody, you know, get the goods, but it's a scary thing that we're in at the moment where you can just say something and people can take a clip and it's you're a bad guy, you know? It's like, far out.
And it's funny, I remember when I was farming, what was the saying? It was like, you can do 99 good things, but the one bad thing you do, people remember. When he told me that, I was like, fucking A. Like, the amount of good I've done, cunts would never talk about. But that one bad thing, like, everyone remembers. Like, yeah, true, that is fucking... Why do you think people, like, sift on that kind of stuff? Like, sit on it.
So
negativity, rather.
In terms of survival, it's actually a survival technique based around bad things. When bad things happen, you get a trauma response or a survival response, whatever you want to look at it as.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, that's basically saying, bro, that was so bad that you want to make sure you don't forget that one. Good things happen, it's like, great, all good. Like, we know that that's good, that's safe. It's not as strong of a response, but if you go to a certain place and you come across a bear, you're like, I'm never going back there, you know? Or if you see your mate who's like, yeah, no, it's safe, and then they fall or they get caught by the bear or whatever, when somebody does something stupid and you see them get messed up or in trouble, you're like, oh, I'm not going to forget that they did that, because then I know not to do that now, you know? It's like we poke and make a big deal out of other people's mistakes in order to kind of like
it's definitely inflated though.
Yeah, because of the fact that then it benefits everybody. It's like, did you see that idiot do that? And then there's 100 people that are like, yep, it's like, well, don't be that idiot. And it's like, now we're all better off for that. But you being the idiot who's done 99 really smart things is now like, oh, now I'm an idiot. But that's when it comes back to, you know, resolve. It's like, well, you did something stupid. It's not, if you let it define you the way that you feel like it does, then it will. Or you can just look at it for what it is, which is a necessary thing for you to learn and for people around you to learn. That's why a big deal was made out of it. And if you learn something from that and keep moving, then you're better off. But if you just learn that people, you know, make mistakes and you don't take anything from it, it's like, well, fuck, you're just stuck there, you know?
Just constantly making mistakes,
Yeah, you just think that all you can do is make mistakes. It's not a good place to be. You just got to get on with it. But yeah, I think that's why. It's a survival technique.
Oh, okay.
You know?
So it's
See,
just weird, like so many like people jump on bandwagon like that so quick. without knowing any information as well. That's what I mean about the
Yeah.
information. Like
Yeah.
a story can go through so many people's mouths, and by the time it gets somewhere, it's nothing to do with the original story. Like,
Not to mention that the original story could have been bullshit to begin with.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah. Where's the info coming from? Like fact check.
yeah. And that's why it's so wild now in terms of what people's opinions can do to other people's lives.
Yeah,
without
that's sad, bro.
any of that being necessarily true.
Mm.
But I mean, ultimately, if you've done anything that bad or you have anything that horrible that people can pick at, then fair play, you know. And if you've done something that isn't that bad but people are picking at and making it worse, time will always be on the side of people that remain true to themselves.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think historically it's proven in a lot of ways too. It's like the more that you try to counteract the beast or feed into it or pretend to be something that you're not in order to make other people happy, the more likely you are to just continue to piss them off when you try to go back to being yourself. Whereas if you maintain and you be who you are the entire way through, then nobody can ever be like, well, that person's like, he's just being Harley. It's like, yeah, well, that's who he is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what did you expect? It's like a
Oh,
great,
yeah.
great example of it is South Park, bro.
Yeah.
Like South Park on Comedy Central. Do you remember when South Park was just one of the first TV shows, cartoons that was
Yeah,
that
there's
outrageous.
R18, yeah,
That was
yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
it wasn't as if people could go in and complain and say, South Park's fucked up. It's like, yeah, it's South Park. What did you
Yeah.
expect? Like,
Yeah.
you mad? Like, that's what it is. There's a rating. It's rated R. It's not for good. It's not meant to be a pleasant thing to watch for people. You know, it's not supposed to rub you the right way. It's supposed to make you feel weird and strange and kind of disturbed a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's the same with people. It's like if you're constantly just being you and people are like, well, they're being them, but you're not causing any harm to anybody. It's like, well, how can you get hated on for that forever? You can't. Eventually people are just going to be like, yeah, well, that's just the way they
What
are.
he does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what I mean in the last like couple of years. How I've just come to terms with everything. Maybe that's what it is, like, because I've always tried to do as much as I can for other people, like, and then I think maybe that's what it is. The last couple of years, I've been like, oh fuck it, like, just need to start working on myself. And not to say I'm not putting out for others, because I am, but like, just if I can manage it is the thing. Like,
Yeah.
instead of like, oh fuck, I still do it. It's hypocritical to say I'm not, because yeah, I'll be like how we're, trying to set this up, and then I actually like double booked 2 other things. So I'm like, oh fuck, I can't come to that now, and then this cunt's like, no, I can't go either, and I'm like, man, sweet, that one's sorted. So I'm like, everything's double, triple booked.
Yeah.
But like, it's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's how my life is, and I've just come to terms with it and been like, I'm gonna have to message every cunt 16 times.
Your energy is a valuable resource, bro, and that's why I said at the start, I appreciate you being here. And I think it's a good thing to recognise that we all have the ability to constantly put ourselves out there and do things and be places for other people. But when you really rein it in and you go, all right, well, outside of like, for example, you providing for a family, it's like, okay, well, outside of that, there's pretty slim pickings for who's going to make the cut that's going to be able to get your free time, and when it does, it's like, it should be valued and seen as that.
Yeah.
And you'll get better at it too. Like, I know what you mean when you say you feel like you're a hypocrite because you do still, do stuff for other people and go out of your way in that. But I know what you mean as well in terms of
trying to rein it in.
Yeah, it's not as much. It's not as much as it used to be. Yeah.
Just little steps, one step forward.
I feel like I'm always putting myself out there, bro. And when I do the hindsight and I look back and I reflect, I go, oh, bro, I never see anyone anymore. I used to go out all the time. It used to be every day. I'd be like, what's up? I'll come here, do this. And now it's like, bro, catch me on the weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
You
get a lot of that, bro. Like, I've fucking been around heaps of people, and then you just sat at home with your kid and you're like, fuck, I got no mates. And then in the weekend, you're fucking all watching UFC together. Oh, I do have mates.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the situation.
Here they are.
I was at home at 8 o'clock.
They're all at work. Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. We
didn't actually tee anything up to do together.
Yeah.
That's why they're not here. Like,
yeah. Who are all my friends? Like, bro,
Hit them up.
Yeah, hit them up. They're there.
That's where they are.
You have instant communication with everybody all around the world. Just flick a message.
Oh, that's fucking, it's a trip, hey.
It's
coming
so
from fucking, because my
crazy.
kid, bro, when we go to warehouse, she goes and grabs the little flip phones. And I'm like, fuck, you don't not know like Nokias, hey. Like, kids
Yeah.
don't even know what a Nokia is anymore.
Nah.
And I'm like, bro, that thing was, you didn't even touch that. Because if you made a call on that, that's costing someone fucking, you know what I mean? Like, everything's unlimited now. It used to be like 500 texts, 500 minutes or something. Like,
Yeah, now that'll last somebody a week. Like,
not even that.
not
like.
even that, bro.
And it's crazy to see it go from that. They were charging you out
Yeah.
100 texts. Now it's just like, oh no, it's all unlimited now.
Yeah.
Why wasn't it like that from the start?
Yeah. And to be fair, why isn't it just unlimited?
General.
It's not like there's a supply of it. All you're getting access to is access to it. It's not like there's a limited amount of data in the world.
Isn't there though?
Nah.
Don't they have those giant data stations that just hold all the info of everything, like in
Yeah.
the US something?
Oh, okay. You know what? I was about to talk like I know, but I don't know. So let me be honest and say I don't know, but that sounds like bullshit to me. Because like, what do you mean? Like,
they're just giant,
but they must
warehouses.
make data though, right?
No, they're just computers that hold the data. So like you send a text, that's in a data system, like because it's been sent. However the fuck, I don't know how it gets sent, but
yeah,
everything's like stored.
Right. So it's actually information. It's not...
once you send that text, it's somewhere. So they have their storage.
So this is the thing: is I understand that there can be a limited amount of storage space for the information that we're sending, but I'm talking about access to the lines which communicate that message being sent. So, like, the means of messaging you on Messenger, like what I need to do to access that network is be allowed access to the internet, which then has access to the memory banks which store the information I'm going to send, right? That's step 2. But step 1 is just getting on the internet. And that's what you're paying for, is how long you can spend on the internet. Not how much space you can take up while you're on the internet. It's how long you can be there. So that's why I'm saying, why is there a limited amount of time that I can spend on the internet when I know that the true thing there's a limit on is how much space you can store, which I know you're not running out of because it's never fucking happened. And it's never going to happen because if it did happen, everything would stop. And they're not going to let that happen because they want to keep the systems running. That's the point of it. We're always making new shit.
There's no way they could keep up with that. Eh?
Exactly.
You imagine the amount of people making like fake Netflix accounts every month.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. It's bots, bro.
There's no way they could build enough fucking storage units.
No.
Yeah, that's true. True.
But I mean, I understand too. It's like it's a business that's set up and has a whole lot of stuff underneath it to do with selling phones and plans and all of that sort of stuff that you need to pay for. But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty clear what kind of, boat I'm in. I'm on a free-for-all boat, which is not how everything operates. So I'll focus on trying to get free food before I try to focus on getting free texts.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd prefer the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the second one, I'll pay for text, bro. I'll go to work for texts.
Do you reckon because all phones have cobalt or whatever that cobalt mining, eh?
Yeah, bro.
Do you reckon if they had free food, do you reckon
they would go to work?
No. They'd probably just use machines, wouldn't they?
Well,
after that, because they wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So why are we not using machines already?
So this is the thing, right? Is that's something someone brought up. Who brought that up? It was a guy. I was over in Europe, or he was from Europe and he was over here. But I was talking to him and he goes, "You know what the most dangerous part about this idea is?" And I said, "What?" He said, "The people that it really affects is the people that are working for absolute scraps and pennies. And those people are the people that are running the biggest industries in the world. So if you fuck with the people that are getting paid pennies, you fuck with the people that pay them pennies who are making millions, which means that you're in trouble, And I was like, okay, if that's the case, then
what are they going to do? Send you to jail for having a combo?
Like suicide me, like fucking, yeah, he had an accident. But this is the thing, is that this isn't something that's going to happen soon. It might not be something that's actually going to happen at all. But if it is going to happen, it's going to happen in a first world country first. And none of that shit's happening here in terms of the scale of like cobalt mining and shit in Africa. So by the time it gets to that point, like you say, right, this is sort of an idea that would be that would work.
built
And,
upon, like as
yeah,
it goes.
yeah,
Okay.
and it would be good to make it harmonious with also integrating a lot of autonomous factory like machinery that can work and produce all of the main building blocks of society that we have in terms of manual labor. If we can kind of do both of those at the same time, then that's a big money like play. That's what we want. But I mean, think about this, right? This is an idea I've had. I think I'm going to start posting these too, just do little videos with ideas like this.
Yeah.
Imagine if all gym equipment worked to generate electricity. Like every rowing machine in every gym generates electricity. Every Stairmaster, every all of those things, every time somebody gets on them and goes, it generates electricity. How much electricity would every city and every gym generate for the entire world?
Have you seen that Japanese thing where they're doing the steps? It's like the whole floor is
It's
electronic
kinetic
steps.
energy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, there's even like magnetic energy and physics. Have you seen that physics one? Where if you put a bottle with a straw, so it makes like a
Positive
infinite well.
and negative. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the positive and negative as well. So
Yeah.
that's like two things that are already free energy forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No money if there's free energy,
seems
though, is it?
insane to talk about this stuff, bro. Like it's not groundbreaking. It's not sci-fi. We're not coming up with anything new. We're just pointing out things that are obvious and work. And that's where you get into the deeper, darker holes of the conversation. You can't help but go, well, like, why hasn't it? And it's so much easier to go to a crazy conspiracy theory than to just go, this is my personal conclusion, which I think is a lot safer of an idea than like these big bad guys that are making everything horrible for everybody. I think that we've gotten really good at what we've been doing and producing what we've been producing and giving ourselves resources, but we just haven't quite figured out sharing. And people are just starting to look around and go, oh, we could probably just like share, and if everybody gets on that buzz, then we're away from there. But we just haven't gone to that point yet. And
that was my whole thing when I was younger. It was just like, what is all this? Like, I give you this and you pay me that, then I buy it. Like, we have this, you have that. Why is it not just a trade like the old days?
Yeah.
It's a chicken for a loaf of bread or whatever. But so
then
like we have all this timber.
Yeah.
You have all of whatever the fuck you have. Trade it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's where it started, and then they just came up with currency.
Just to make it easier for there to be middle ground, because then otherwise everybody has to be a producer of something. If everybody's trading, then everyone has to be a producer of something. You can't just be like a worker at a place, because then what are you getting paid? It's like, oh, you're getting paid in chickens and you work on a chicken farm. It's like, well, it's like that's, then you're limited to what somebody's willing to swap for a chicken, It's like, but somebody else is working at the butcher's, and it's like they've got all the meat, and so they can swap different meat for all sorts of stuff. It's like, it's not really fair. But I think in terms of simplicity and what is obvious at the start, you're like, yeah, why can't we just like give you this and give me that? But that's pretty much what we're doing. We're just doing it with extra steps. But
a lot of road bumps, a lot of tickets getting clicked along the way.
Yeah, a lot of middlemen.
The information thing's amazing, eh? Like
the age of information.
Man. Like there's so much of it, and just I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it is cool in a lot of ways, but it's also a downfall. I think there's almost too much information, but it's cool that you can, like, us now, we could just go off tomorrow and start a company, because there's all the information to teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
But like, what is it, most people using it for? Watching reels, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's to do with all that technology being introduced. People haven't really adjusted to it yet. We kind of got hit with a fucking generation's worth of dopamine, and we just got sat on our asses because we didn't really know how to deal with it, and we haven't quite gotten back up yet.
So this is the start. We're all getting up.
Yeah, like the kids
finally come to terms with it.
Yeah, kids that have technology their whole lives are going to be trippers, bro. And there'll be some of them that all their entire life is in the technology, and then I think that'll be
you know what I don't understand?
What?
Their IRL stuff
In real life.
Yeah. you're just watching someone else live their life.
Oh, right.
Like
they
kids,
like they film themselves doing the stuff.
kids are watching other kids live, and all they're doing is like walking around like normal shit.
Yeah.
Why isn't that kid walking around like
doing normal shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That stuff's
And then
scary.
they think they need to stream their life, and it's like, no, you can just live your life without watching it. Like,
well, it's because it's like everybody's trying to be a personality now.
Stand out amongst. Yeah.
But it's also like your personality, everyone's personality now, has the potential to be a business.
True. Yeah,
That's why it's like these kids aren't looking at it like I want to be a streamer. They're like I want to stream my life so I can keep living my life and get paid for it.
True.
Rather than spend my life going out and getting a job. And you know, it's like if I just stream myself playing video games every day, there's a chance that I might play video games for the rest of my life. And when you're a fucking 10-year-old kid, that is the best prospect anyone could possibly offer you. It's like, hey, if you film what you already do every day,
we'll just pay for it.
You could get money for it. It's like, no fucking way. And then kids do. And then they go to Worlds and then they get $1 million for winning a Fortnite fucking competition. You know, it's like...
E-games, yeah, that shit's crazy.
It's so sick.
Fully on like Sky now, eh? Not that I don't even have Sky, but...
Apparently doctors that play video games have better reflexes than doctors that don't.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
Like surgery-wise in terms of their
Make
control.
sure before the next surgery, do you play?
Oh, is it yeah, it's like
COD
like I think it's steadiness of their hands or something. Or they have like a lower heart rate and all sorts of shit, man. It's like doctors are like higher heart rates playing video games than when they're actually performing surgery.
That's their comfort zone, eh? Just
like
high stress.
Stitching someone's heart up. I'm not playing COD. It's not like anything's on the line.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that doctors are just people, man.
Oh, everyone, bro. I always think teachers, bro.
Yeah, man.
How many fucking teachers do you know now that are our age and they're just cooked? Like,
and
love getting on the person.
Bro.
Creatures, bro. And then you fucking think, like, geez, I was looking up to these cunts for so many years, like, thinking they all had it together. Like, you must be an adult if you're a teacher.
You like, they were like that step above parent in terms of like cleanliness in your mind. You're like that. Look, my mum and dad, they don't do bad stuff, but my teacher, I don't think's ever even heard of a bad thing. Yeah. They don't do bad things ever.
They just
and then you
teach.
grow up and you're
and
like,
they go home and they read books and that's all they do.
Yeah, and they come back and they do it all again. It's like, nope. They're getting sendy as. They're probably still stoned teaching you.
Oh, fucking A. It's kind of crack up, eh? Just, I think for everyone, like, we're all people. Everyone's people, you know?
Yep.
Billionaires to the cobalt miners, like, just human, bro. Like.
And we're all just like, no one knows, bro. We're all just kids running around, bumping into each other and making noises and being like, look at this is cool, eh? It's like, that's all of life, you know? You're pretty, can I kiss you? Like, do you want to play mums and dads? Like, yeah. Yeah, there you go, mate. 18 years later, how was it? It's pretty, pretty surreal.
It'd be cool, like, I mean, I'm not saying, I feel like a lot of people do live a lot when they're younger, but it'd be cool if a lot more younger people live more. I guess they are now, like, heaps of people a couple of years younger than me, you know, they all travel and that. Like, I've never been a big traveller. Not that I don't like to, I just...
Haven't done it?
I guess it's that whole coming from struggle and you're like, I can't make 10 grand to get off this island. Like, because like, that's not in my perspective, but
and
it's
it
cool
is
to
10
see.
grand too.
Yeah,
it's New
literally.
Zealand.
But it's cool to see like people travel and shit, and you're like, I see the world, and because I feel like all of this comes back now, like our age now, almost 30s, and you start actually like trying to break down things and figure out more complex problems. But I just, with the younger generation worried about politics and that, I'm like, you guys are young, like just have a little bit of young time, like before you're like trying to rush into all these complex situations.
Yeah, they're like, we can't. You guys fucked everything up.
Yeah.
We've grown up. We've grown up not having any choice but to read about it every day.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's always someone's fault, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, man, and this is why the conversation concept, I think, is something. It's kind of my last straw of fucks to give, because I'm like, if I'm gonna pursue anything, if I'm gonna back any political agenda, if I'm gonna follow anyone, anywhere, if I'm gonna put anything out into the world, this is it. And then beyond that, it's like I don't give a shit about anything else, bro. Like, if this isn't sorted, everything else is extra. It's like, oh, but what about, like, and you can bring up serious issues, bro. Like, fuck, man, like, rights to fucking, like, land, to people's bodies, like abortion, like, fucking euthanization, like, fucking all sorts of very important and, like, things that need to be spoken about and figured out and hashed out, but just nothing anybody's going to give a fuck about on an empty stomach, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
tell me how much you care about that thing you care about if you're hungry, bro. Like, tell me how much you care about that thing you care about if you're tired as and you just need a crash. It's like, these are the things we need to get sorted, bro. And that's where I'm like, you know, if we're talking about kids and whatnot and growing up and being in that information age and all of that, it's like if I had anything to pass on, I'd want to pass on that kids should focus on figuring these things out, because these are the main resources. And then you can spend the rest of your time, the rest of your life, arguing about everything else, because everybody's fed now. So you got all the fuel in the world to argue about everything else, you know?
Give more time for people to, I guess, solve other problems. And it'd come with a giant restructure, eh?
I mean, yeah.
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 Society would be so different.
It's gonna take some doing, bro.
I love what you're doing, bro. It's cool. Like,
Thanks, man.
and to think, like, it'd be cool if everyone was fed, man. Like, people deserve that. Just to fucking, even just to eat. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying not shelter either, but fucking just food, bro. Like, that's.
Yeah.
And it's weird
It's a
how
good
it's all been
place.
taken away. Like, you go out here and they're fucking trawled it all, so there's no fish. And then, oh, you want to go out and get a deer? Oh, now you need a license for that. Oh, now you need a permit. Like, so why can't I just go eat shit? Like, there's a deer there, I can kill it. Nah,
Yeah.
barriers, so it's.
Yeah. Stop people from living that way.
Yeah. And I mean, we're doing a bit like to try and provide we got like chickens and sheep and that, but it's so cracker. Being different from like hunting something to growing it. Like, I fucking used to hunt pigs, and that's completely different. You're going out there, you're looking for them, like you're trying to find them. And then I grew a couple for a couple of years. I think I might have taken one bite out of the meat we got from them. And I was like, no, that's a bro. Like, soft as, bro. Like, shit I'd never think would happen to me. Yeah. It was like, fucking, I thrash pigs. Like,
Yeah.
and then I grew one, I was like, oh, fuck, that's the homie. Like,
That's my fucking. Bro, I grew up I had what do we do, 3 or 5 years on a pig farm.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was the same, G. I didn't like it.
It's weird.
Saw them and I was like, there the whole time, and then you just be like eating it and you're like, this is crazy. Like, I don't.
At least that one I was hunting for was running around millennia of fucking
He's
so
had a
much
mean
land.
time, yeah.
You just
I've
catch
just
it.
raised and murdered this cunt.
Yeah. It's
That's
a bit different.
fucked up, bro. That's
you get this 10 square meter and that's you. Like,
yeah, it's your little death pin. Oh.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, bro. It's like, situationally, we have the privilege of being able to be picky with our food. It's like, that's crazy. Because if it was life or death, you'd eat the pig, you know? But it's not, because you have the option and the benefit of being able to be like, nah, I'll eat something else, you know? And that's present in all first world countries, which is just beyond survival already. It's like, but instead of leveling it out, making sure everybody's in that situation, we just waste a bunch of food and don't feed people.
Yeah, I don't know. You hear the classic tradie diet, eh? Like, just pies and V's.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't hack it. I've tried many times and just, fuck, I can't do it, eh?
I can do it if I'm smoking heaps, but if I'm not, then I can't.
Oh, just the repercussions of a V. And I'm not saying don't drink V, but fuck me, man. For me, the repercussions on a V are heavy, bro.
Yeah?
The
What
fade.
do you get?
Just
the
the fade, bro. Like, yeah, you get a couple minutes of energy, but coming back down is a long come down. Like, that's half a litre of poison.
That's me with coffee, bro.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, I have a
that's where
coffee
you
and
had
I'm
none.
like, woo! I'm like that little,
Yeah.
you know that squirrel from Over the
Over
Hedge,
the hedge,
bro?
yeah.
Yeah,
Remy,
that's
was it Remy?
Remy.
That,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so. That's me, bro.
yeah.
No, Remy's the
No,
mouse
Remy's
from.
the chef.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that
he's
cunt,
quick
yeah.
and he goes, and that's what I'm like on coffee, and then I just
Crash.
die, crash out hard, bro. So yeah, I get where you're coming from with that one, man. It's not easy to maintain when you're getting your emotional, like motivation is just getting drained after you have one can.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say was that like that diet's trash. So all I do to myself is just take a can of tuna to work,
Yeah,
and I'm like, if you get hungry, that's what you got.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And then you gotta eat it.
But living in a first world country, you might end up at the fucking bakery with your workmate.
Yeah,
And then you're like, well, I don't have to have that can of tuna now.
exactly. And this is the thing
And it's
too.
a hard choice.
Like if food, water, and shelter's free, it's like bakeries won't be free. You know, it's like if you want to get somebody to
True,
cook
the
you something,
commodities of
yeah,
life, yeah.
you still have to pay for chef's food and stuff. You know, so it's like,
But isn't just a piece of steak a chef's?
yeah,
That's it. What, so steak's out of the combo with the
nah,
free
like
food?
at the supermarket steak, you know, at your whatever, that's all, you know, subsidized.
No,
But your
your
steak
prime cuts.
but a chef,
Your
no,
eye
well,
fillets are
no, it's just
gone.
if it gets cooked for you because you're not paying for the
Oh,
steak,
okay.
you're paying for
Right.
somebody to
The service of
experience.
someone.
Yeah, they fucking learned how to cook, and then
Yeah.
someone carried it to you after it got cooked, and you just sat there. It's like that's you
Well, they
gotta.
don't always. Have you been to those fucking restaurants? They give you a stone and they say cook your own steak on the stone.
Oh, do they?
You still pay the same amount.
Oh, well,
What the
that's a
fuck am I
stitch
paying
up.
for?
Nah, fuck that.
Cooking my own food.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh,
I'd be
bro.
like, yo, bring out the stone
Cook it
chef.
for me, bro.
Yeah, if I'm paying fucking $50, I don't want to cook it myself. I'm shit at cooking it. That's why I came out. Can't cook steak for the life of me. That's gonna be well done every time. Black, bro. It's hard.
Oh, fuck. Can't be doing that to steak, bro. Go on.
I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to. I get excited and then I take it off
Wait
and then
it
I
too
forget
long.
that it's got to rest and it cooks while it rests and then it's black and I'm like, fuck. I'm getting better.
Small steps, mate.
Yeah, small steps. Yeah, you gotta repeat the process, you know.
Hard.
Ah,
You
shit.
enjoying it though? Like
What?
just the everyday shit, like the cooking, the fucking
In my life?
yeah.
I'm getting better at it, same as you. I feel like I'm just
Yeah.
hitting that point now where I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I do, this is what I'm about, and the goals that I've set and the things that I want to do are just like the only difference between what I'm doing now and what I want from what I'm doing is the continuation of it. It's like if I'm doing a podcast every week, I'm doing everything I need to do to everything I need to do, full stop. I don't need to do more than that.
Do you ever run away from things that are good for you?
Yeah, hell yeah, I've been doing it for the last 3 months.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been mucking around big time. I've been
Same.
going through some mad roller coasters, bro, and just
Running.
yeah, bro.
That's so weird, eh?
But it's like I also believe in there being some sort of I don't know. I don't want to say reason for it, but sometimes I go through those things and stuff happens and I see people and I have interactions or I learn something about myself or others or I'm there for somebody in a way that I wouldn't have been if I was on my game, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like there's always beautiful things that come out of those times when I'm supposedly running from shit because even though I'm running from shit, I'm always somewhere and wherever I am, I'm having an effect on that place. So, it's like it's not ideal, but I don't like to treat it like I've spent time I can't ever get back or I've wasted time or that somehow spending my time in a way that could be seen as a distraction from my main goals is somehow less valuable than the time I spent on my goals because, all of this is made up, right? So if I'm upset about me spending time on shit that doesn't matter, but I'm not upset about the things that I say do matter, then I'm just choosing to be upset half the time because none of it really matters. We all
Yeah.
just die, that's
true.
the end of it. So might as well just enjoy mucking around when I muck around and then enjoy being on task when I'm on task,
That's a good one, yeah. I think me and Johnny had the same combo once. I asked him because we both didn't have time. At the time we talked to paint as much as we like.
Yeah.
And I was saying, fuck, do you need to be in a zone? And he said, nah, he used to think the same. I need to be in an art zone.
Yeah.
My life needs to be this way or I need this much of this. And he just said, like, no, you just do it repetitively. And even on the days that you're just on autopilot, it might not be as good as the day that you're like fully conscious and like set to the task, but it's still a thing that you can build on. I was like, oh, true. So you can still just, you don't have to be like sat down, this is it. Like, just chip away, like try a little bit.
Yeah. It's
and
like,
it all like conglomerates in the end. And you're like, oh, all those little half days probably could add up to,
I agree, man.
bigger goal, but
That's why doing stuff always wins in the end.
just do stuff.
But that's why the podcast having the goal of 50 this year and doing one every week, it's like being accountable for one thing every week. The only thing I have to do every week is have one yarn with one person.
That's mean.
And so it's like, but that means every week I get to Monday and I'm like, what's happening this week? It's like, oh, I got to set up at least one yarn.
Yeah.
So it's like every week I'm accountable. I'm like, oh, okay. Then once it's done, I'm like, sweet. Oh, who's next week? You know? And then, so I've always got something every week.
Even though it's one thing.
Yeah,
still.
but it's the whole week in my brain. So
And then that weighs on the fact of that person, just like me and you trying to get each other.
yeah,
It could happen with fucking 3 people in a row.
Yeah.
Now you're stressing.
yeah. But that's the thing is like, I always have fallbacks. So like, I live with Zonny. That's an episode.
Yeah.
Whenever I want it, I can just be like, yo. So that's why I haven't done one with him, because I'm like, there'll be a week where I'll be like, shit, G, do you got an hour? You know? And he'll sit down and have a yarn. And then I've got, you know, I haven't done any of the other Sons boys either, you know?
True, yeah,
so it's like, I've got all of them to do. And then, you know, I got heaps of other homies that I haven't talked to, bro. So I don't, like, for example, this week I've got you, Connor Hurst, Wilsey, and Justin that I've talked to that want to do it. And I've talked to Chris, Daniel Sinclair, JD, Josh Haig. I've talked to a few people about doing it. So I've got like another 8 that I've got in my mind. So I just, whenever I'm, like today, for example, and yesterday, I was just messaging people, teeing it up. And then as soon as I get people locked in, I'm like, sweet. And then so, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it, man. It's good. And it's the first time I think I've ever had something that I'm kind of brought back to that consciousness and that on-taskness every week.
Yeah, just that one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to sort of, like 3 weeks can go by real quick and you feel like you've done nothing. But when I look back and I've got 3 episodes, I go, oh yeah, mate. Yeah, you know, that's something, I've done something these last 3 weeks. I've contributed towards my goal. And most podcasts don't make it past like 12 episodes or something. You know, it's like, I think 12 or 14, most podcasts just drop off.
Real.
So if I
because they think they're not getting traction.
I don't know.
You're never gonna get traction in the beginning.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, man. I'm not sure. It's just it's a really weird stat that most people don't get past the first sort of like 14 or maybe it's 20, but you know, and I think it makes sense because the more that I've done this podcast, the more it's reaffirmed. Firstly, that it's a good idea. Secondly, that it's always a different chat with different people. And third, that it was not it wasn't going to go the way that I thought it was at the start. Like originally when I talked to people, I asked them, do you think food, water and shelter being free would make your life easier? And it was just this really weird angle, you know, of like...
because that's the way you portrayed the question.
And I'm trying to get it's like I'm trying to get that answer of people saying yes, you know? And instead I just go, what do you think about it? And then let people build the world in their mind for them from their angle. And then typically they come to a conclusion where they're like, oh, I can see this, you know?
Well, bro, to be honest, my mind's changing on it. Because like listening to it, had all these, to me, realistic things. And I was like, suffering is like needed and all of that. But just as I was talking now, I'm like, well, if I did have, because saying you accomplish one thing a week, I feel the same when I get home from work that I need to accomplish one thing that day. Yeah. Forgetting that I've just done 8 hours of hard labour, like, you know.
All right, whatever that was doesn't count. I need to do something.
That's in the past. So, and then I don't, you know, some days you can't. You get halfway through and it's fucking now, it's 9 o'clock and you're like, shit, I can't finish this thing. And then I get real down on it. Yeah. And that can snowball easy either way. Like. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing, bro. Like, that's definitely changed my mind. Like, if I didn't have to work as much, those things that I am trying to accomplish would have more time to be accomplished.
Exactly. And I think in terms of suffering, bro, not to be too I don't think it's a negative point of view. I think it's realistic, but there's never going to be a shortage of suffering in life, bro. Think about it from this perspective, which is pretty hardcore, but it's a very black and white way to put it, and it summarizes why I feel the way I do. Everyone you ever meet and everyone you ever love is going to die, you know? So let's just take that as the baseline level of suffering for all of life, which is already fucking shit as. And then, like, what, you want more? Like, fuck, bro.
God, yeah.
No, you don't know how you got here, and one day everyone you love just, like, disappears. Like, they just go in the ground. It's like, and you just gotta keep going. Even though you have no idea where they went or where you're going, and all you know for sure is that you're one day gonna be in a hole in the ground. It's like, bro, let's make this time in between those gaps, like those moments, the best time.
The best time.
Yeah. Let's make it a good time. Because there's plenty of suffering, bro. There's heaps to go around. We're not going to run out.
Fuck, do you even, like, because you have a good relationship with your parents?
Yeah, bro.
Imagine when they're gone, like, you're talking about it.
Yeah,
Imagine
dude.
when they're gone, dude. Like, I feel like that maybe is when you think, oh, and you become an adult one day. I don't think you really do, but maybe that's like one of the turning points, because that's always a fallback if you have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And then once they're gone, you're like, well, it's just me. Like,
yeah,
the only fallback is me.
And that's why people that lose parents young mature faster
Fucking
and have a whole different, you see it in their eyes, bro.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
you
don't have anyone to go home to, you know, like you've got a different perspective of this. And I'm so grateful that I have had and continue to have them. And I know that when that happens, bro, that it's going to be the gnarliest shit of my life, undoubtedly. And I just want to make sure that I enjoy the time that I have before that happens, you know? And hopefully give them everything that they've given me in some sort of way, if I can try to repay back some of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, it's a weird life we live, man.
Yeah.
That's, I think, why I, like, never wanted to play the game in the beginning, was because I always thought the same. I was like, we're all going to die. Like,
Yeah.
why would I just play into the norm? Like, but I guess then I never found a niche either that was sidetracked enough for me to, like, follow either. So
Yeah.
it just paths led to where I am now, and I'm actually, like, quite happy at where I am, eh?
It's a gift to be able to say that,
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so different to be like, well, you know, there's always that, like, you could lose your job or whatever, but those are all ifs. Like, me right now, I'm like, this is fine. This is, like, pretty much what I envisioned my life. Like, I was either going to go to Sweden or have a family, and I had the family, so I got my wish.
Yeah. You'll go to Sweden one day, mate.
Yeah, it was still time.
Still on the cards.
Yeah. Denmark.
Yeah.
Greenland apparently has some real good water quality, eh?
Oh,
You're talking about water.
yeah.
Because do you have good water here? Is it chlorinated?
It's chlorinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just go down to the fountain.
Yeah.
At the
The free one.
Aquarium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking weird, bro. Like, the chlorine and fluoride buzz is just like, whoa.
Yeah, fluoride literally makes you dumb as
It's a neuroinhibitor, isn't it?
Yeah, and they just, there's...
It's so weird because they go chlorine free, extra fluoride added.
Yeah, or
no
fluoride added. And it's like, but there's fluoride in there. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, but there's no added. And you're like, well, it's either bad or worse. Like, and always, because I've always used...
Where's just water?
Yeah, where's just the water? And they seem to be like, oh, no, you can't just have water, you'll die. You need chlorine in it. Like, what?
What did you do to the water that made you need to put chlorine in it?
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's the thing too, is that a lot of it is just because the water's been fucked up in some sort of way, and the chlorine's supposedly killing all the bacteria.
Well, that gastro thing, bro, that happened in Havelock, that's part of, like, your learning now as a plumber. That's, like, in the code.
What is? Exactly.
Just, like, the basis of, like, this is what can happen if this happens. Like,
if shit gets into the water.
Yeah, if shit gets in the water. So it's, like, a crucial part of your plumbing apprenticeship to be like, this is a real bad event that happened once. funnily enough, I live there.
Yeah.
And like remember that because you're going to be in charge of the next generation of water, like
Yeah.
you know. And it's weird working with water because I
Yeah.
fucking don't like chlorinated water. Like we have a bore at home or
Yeah.
shit like that, and I'm like, well, it's weird because copper's good for water because it livens. It's got like electrolysis or something.
Yeah.
But everything's getting ripped out and put to plastic because chlorine kills the copper. So it's going all backwards, eh? Like. Such a weird thing.
I didn't know that about chlorine messing with the copper.
Yeah, that's why everyone's cylinders blew, eh? When they started adding chlorine.
Oh.
Yeah, bro, because they're all copper.
Dude, that's really interesting and important information, eh?
Well, what does it do to your body if it ruins a fucking copper cylinder, bro?
Yeah. Bro, do you know there's only like one body of water?
In
like,
general.
Yeah, like all water
comes from...
It's just like, that's it. Like the amount of water that's on the planet is all of the water.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds real silly when I say it like that, but what I mean is that water isn't being reproduced, it's being recycled. So like all water that's in the clouds that comes down, that goes back around, that's you drink, it's all the same water. And so, you know, every time it goes round and it hits the cycle and all that, the way that we affect it when it's coming through our systems and our cycle is having an effect on how it then continues to recycle. It's not as if we're getting fresh water that we're messing up. It's like we're consistently messing up water and then recycling it and then messing it up more.
What's the basis of life, bro?
Water.
Exactly.
Agua es vida, baby.
Water there is no life without water. And like, to think our water's all cooked, like, is pretty sad. Did you see they found water on a, I think it was a Saturn moon? Some shit.
Really?
They reckon it's like 2K's worth of ice or something under this moon.
Ah, easy, bro. I'll go grab it.
Yeah. There you go. There's some fresh water.
I'll just pedal out. I'll hop on a plane.
We'll just fucking melt it down.
This is I'm not against space travel or any of that, but it makes me laugh. Genuinely. Like, I think it is the most hysterical concept ever. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It's almost, yeah, it's very childlike. And it makes me giggle because it's just...
just comical that people are travelling out there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, hold up. How many billions, if not trillions of dollars are we going to have to spend on all of this to get everything up, working, rockets going where they're going, landing where we're going, and then resources, and then, establishing like a place where people can live on another planet? It's like, we haven't established a place where we can live on this planet. Yeah. Like, what? Once we do that, that's when I'm, all good. Send us up and we'll suss out. So we'll just do what we did here, you know?
Yeah, it's like, fix here first.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so if someone goes to Mars, do the astronauts pay rent? You know?
Who owns it now?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's the thing that trips me out, is that when's the point where you got to pay rent on Mars?
Actually, who the fuck owned this Earth? Why am I paying for fucking land? Like,
that's bro.
What the?
That's one of my lyrics from Strange Enchanted Boys on the back of this hoodie, actually, that Rose made. Yeah. And it's, who the fuck bought the land off the earth in the past and then decided they could sell it to us for whatever they ask?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We did it. That's the funniest part. We did it, bro. We're doing it and we continue to do it. And that's where it comes back to what we're talking about at the very start, bro. This concept has nothing to do with anyone's opinion about whether or not it's the right or wrong idea. It has to do with how many people are talking about it. Like, these aren't the types of changes that happen because it's a good idea. These are the types of changes that happen because literally, not some, millions of people have to be like, yes, and then go, let's make that happen.
Have you heard that convo that's going to happen?
I know,
right?
Boom. I can't wait for that to be a thing. Bro, you're that guy that talks about food on a show and be like, fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm that guy. That guy that talks about making food free, bro. Like, that's such a
fuck yeah, bro.
That's such a cool
way to be known.
Yeah, and it's
that's a guy that's trying to provide for the whole world.
At least New Zealand. Let's start there.
Yeah,
if we can suss it out in New Zealand, at least we could just be, bro, we're
a self-sustaining country.
5 million people that produce all raw goods, like materials, foods, like farming goods. We are the perfect fucking test subjects.
You know,
First
we make
world.
all the raw ingredients for Parmesan cheese, but we don't conglomerate it and
cheese.
make it parmesan.
We should make Parmesan cheese.
Send all the raw ingredients and then buy it back. Like,
That's pretty much
it's
New
a
Zealand
story
to a
of New
T.
Zealand, yeah.
I think that's the thing, man, is that over the next 20 years, I'm going to pretty much just spend my time learning about how all of this shit works so I can understand it, so that when people, ask me really specific questions, I can go, yeah, well, this is what New Zealand exports, this is what this is how we work, and this is how we can, work around it. But then again, also, that's another thing where I believe in the numbers of people. If there's enough people, bro, if you have 3 million people, there's going to be enough people within that have enough expertise to be able to figure this out without somebody who doesn't know about certain things having to learn everything about it, How much time is it going to take for me to learn everything there is to know about politics, psychology, and economics? Compared to how long it would take me to sit down with 3 people who know everything there is to know about that and go, okay, so here's my idea, and they go, well, here's how we can make it work.
True, so the reach is the part.
Yeah, bro.
It's the reach. If you had someone here right now that was a economics guy, a politician.
Yeah, that was the second episode I did, bro.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so the bro's name's Steve Keen, bro, and he's like a world-renowned economist, bro, and he's from Sydney, and he's a good-ass cunt. And I'm taking his course at the moment.
Oh, man.
And when I went over to Dublin, I popped over to Amsterdam to see him for a day. And we just linked up and we did a podcast, and it was exactly what we're talking about. It was crazy. I was like, here's the idea. He's like, yeah. We talked about it.
Did he shoot anything down? Or?
Yeah, well, we talked about it in the way of a universal basic income.
Yeah.
And then we turned that into a guaranteed basic income. And so, yeah, basically just everything you would need to pay for those things in the interim between you getting a job or you pursuing whatever you want to pursue.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't structured in the way of creating a system where food, water, and shelter is free. It was more like creating a subsystem, basically just a welfare system for everybody that provides the money that you need for those things when you need the money for those things. And that's a really cool conversation to have. The reason why I disagree with that concept personally is that I think that people that are given money don't learn anything.
Nah, true.
And I think that
you can give them food, but you give them money.
Then they're going to spend it on whatever the fuck.
They don't have any concept
of value for that money. But if you give people food, water, and shelter, it's like, okay, well, you've got that. But if you want any of the other extra stuff in life, you have to realize that you have to work for that because it's not a human right. It's it's not a human right for you to have a mansion, bro. You don't deserve one for just existing. But if you work your fucking ass off for 10 years and 20 years and you've, saved $10 million,
you can
buy a mansion, bro. Build it wherever the fuck you like. That's great. But not everybody wants that and not everybody's going to get that. But, the basis of it is that people don't get given money that they can then just spend on drugs and alcohol instead of food and water and shelter. And then that's the thing too. People can work their asses off to buy drugs. That's fine. If you want to do that, that's great. Imagine if your entire paycheck, you're like me, I can just spend all of it on drugs. It's great. Do that. It's a shit way to live. But if that's what you want to do, then fucking fine.
That's you.
Yeah, that's all good. I'm not going to stop you from fucking smoking weed every day. Go hard. Everybody that doesn't want to do that just won't do that. They'll spend their money on other shit and go out and
hard.
But yeah, it's a really beautiful world, and I think that it's always looks the most appealing and has the most shine to it when it's just me and one other person or a few other people talking about it, because that's when stuff's easy, man. That's when stuff's simple. It's yeah, of course. Why not? Why would that not be the option?
Yeah, I mean, big ups, because when I posted that story, and then, I just listened to Zach talk about fucking being scared to come on and talk on camera, and then he asked me, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I can't say no. This can't went on.
Yeah. That's so when he was talking about it too, I was like, perfect, bro, because there's going to be so many people I talk to that go, oh, nah, I don't know, bro.
But even fucking that little bit of oh, fuck, sorry, but I can't today, that kills a bit of it. Because I was like, holy shit. And then, oh, no, I can't do that. I was like, mean. Now not just. And then just keeps going. Even on the way here, I was like, surely he's going to cancel. Fucking checking my phone. Fuck, I can turn around here.
This looks like a good place to go home.
But then also just knowing you, and I'm like, fuck, I love your chats, bro. Like, I've
Yeah.
had heaps of mean chats. I've
Yeah.
never been like stale or about fucks. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been about something with a
Good.
purpose. Like,
Yeah, bro.
and all your lyrics, even, bro, like,
Yeah.
they're a lot different to the average, you know?
Shut, bro. I think man, I love yarning. And I
Mm.
always have. And I hate stale, boring conversations. And
bro.
I don't like talking about shit that doesn't give me something that is intriguing, exciting, or interesting, or something along those lines. And this conversation always has something where people are like, oh. I love when I talk to someone who hates it too, bro. When someone's like, nah, I'm like, oh, bro, tell me why not.
Yeah.
Because that's all the things we need to fix to make why yes. You know?
Yeah, I guess everyone's going to have their own perspective, eh?
And
So everyone's an individual, so.
bro, and I'm glad that you feel that way too, like feel comfortable to come chat and stuff, because I feel real comfortable chatting with people. And when I do this, I like even just like having the camera behind and like not really thinking about it. It's not like in your face. It's like you're just sort of having a yarn.
That was the best part.
Yeah,
Was
so good,
listening
eh?
to it and then seeing the reel, and I was like, oh, there's not even anything in front of you or anything.
Yeah.
You can just actually, we're just chilling, having a chat. Like,
Yeah.
So dismissive of all that, so
It helps.
makes it a lot
disappear.
easier, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was actually Louisa was the first one, and I came out here. I was like, "Do you want to film it?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I can put it behind." She's like, "That would be super cool because then I won't have to think about
Trying to look cool.
trying to look like a certain way while I'm yarning." You know,
Yeah.
when it's a podcast, people aren't going to sit and watch a whole video anyway, so I don't need to make it. It's like when it's a clip, it's going to have the little words and stuff, so people can still see what's going on. It's just
Anything above an hour, you're just listening.
yeah, dude. And I just want to talk to regular people, man. Like, because regular people aren't regular at all. They're freaking extraordinary, and they all have an infinite amount of intricacies and individual aspects to themselves that, is crazy to find. And everyone has a perspective on this, and everyone's is valid, and there's always something to talk about, and always a version of it that something someone can offer that I've never heard before, Like, it's a great thing to be able to find something new in all of those conversations and not have to, as well talk about it in such a cold, callous, calculated way, because often logical thinking and a lot of knowledge in a certain area makes you lose your human aspect of it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is how economics works, so people just need to
and you're going like by the book to fucking reality sets.
Well, if we talk about, politics and what really works, it's like if you take money away from these people and you give it to these people, that's when it works. It's like, well, fuck, how does it work when, like...
No one has money.
No, yeah. Like, how does it work when we make it so everybody gets a little bit of something? Like, there's got to be a system in there where that happens, and if it's not, then I don't really want to be a part of that system, and that's where it comes back to that whole thing of, like, what are you contributing? Are you enjoying your life and what you're doing? And if you can't find anything from it, then don't play the game and just do your own thing, because I don't want to spend too much time of my life invested in trying to change something that I can't, but I'm willing to give this 20 years.
Yeah,
I reckon I can do 20 years. If I hit 50 or 46, if I hit 46, bro, and this hasn't gone anywhere, then like kick back, all good.
Yeah,
we tried,
But now you've got a plethora of conversations with your friends.
Yeah.
That everyone
cool.
can fucking listen to. Still with a positive.
And maybe in 100 years, somebody will be like, "Man, we should do this. This is a great idea." Like, people might laugh at it now. I think it's silly, but once upon a time, people laughed about, women voting or gay rights. It's like that used to be a joke. Like, what do you think about women voting? Like, good one, And then now it's like, what do you think about free food? It's like, good one,
Yeah.
Like, who knows, man? Give us some time. And the only difference between, these two situations and what the outcome of, people wanting, women's rights for votes and people wanting gays' rights for marriage is like, people got behind it. They just went, we want this to happen. This is a basic human right. They deserve it. Let's make it happen. And it did. It took time, but it did. You know?
True, yeah. Just get a group behind you.
So what do you reckon, bro? In terms of it all, you like the general gist. You like the
definitely change perspectives a bit during convo. So
wicked, and it's always going to continue to change as well as time goes on, bro. That's the thing.
I still obviously it's beginning stages, so there's always going to be kinks to iron out, but
Yeah.
that's why this is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's perspectives different. You're like, oh, what about this? And then boom,
Yeah.
solving your little roadblocks as you go. So
Yeah. And yarn with people about it, bro, because that's the cool part too, is then you can have like chat with people about it and then go, what do you think? And then other people will give their 2 cents and you'll go, oh, shit, I didn't even think about that either, you know? Like,
I think I said to someone in passing, like, oh, fuck, I got to do this podcast. And then they're like, a podcast? Like, fuck. It was like, yeah. And
like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
No, but like, as in the fact of people, it's such a small city, they're like, they must think it's like a fucking, no, it's the bro. Like,
Yeah.
and then they're obviously like hearing me say I'm going to do one, so then they're like keen to listen to it. And it's giving you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
so it's actually like full circling back to you getting the listens, and then people are like, whoa, they actually have like something to chat about. They're not, there's like an actual concept.
Yeah.
And what do I think about it? And then they'll probably relay that to me, then I can bring it back to you. Like,
yeah, big time, man.
And then that just spreads, bro. So fucking good thinking, bro. You've done some thought.
Yeah, I did actually for about 8 years.
Just a light 8, eh?
Light 8, bro, from about 18 to 20, well, no, 16 probably, but 18's when it really started sinking in. But yeah, 18, now I'm 26. It's been there were some handy nights, bro. Sometimes just lying there being like, what am I doing? What's the point of all of this?
Yeah.
There's no way,
Yeah.
you know, but then I just slowly but surely just refined it down into this concept of these 3 things, and I'm just like, oh, that's something I can walk with, you know, that's something I can talk about, and that's something that's not too crazy that it's, you know,
unachievable.
unachievable or unexplainable. You know, I can't be like, well, I mean, you can see where I'm coming from, you know?
Yeah, hard.
It might be flawed in some ways, it could be naive and all that, but it's got some
How do
good
you reckon
bones.
it would be different to what we have now? With
time. It would just be the time
just
thing.
the time,
The
eh?
time thing,
Yeah.
bro. Working
But-
3 or 4 days rather than 5 or whatever. It's like,
And so you wouldn't, so with saying like wins is a thing, that's how you get your benefits of, so that wouldn't be a thing?
you wouldn't need it. Why would you?
Yeah.
You know? Like you.
But that's what us using now to say that they're doing what you're saying. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we give people government housing, we give them
yeah, but
food stamps or whatever the fuck. they
you can
give,
spend
but-
that money on anything, though.
Yeah, true.
That's the difference, man. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that will inevitably be in similar situations that they are now, but they also won't be in as many feedback loops, especially with drugs and alcohol. Without work, it's like, okay, so you've got free food, water, and shelter, but that doesn't mean that you get to go out and buy a piss and sit around and do nothing. So you can sit at home and eat good food and be all good, but if you want your other shit, you got to go work for it. You know, and that's where the difference is, and that's where a lot of people won't like that, you know. But I think that the people that don't like it probably don't also have a value for that suffering and that hard work, which is a really integral part on being a good self-loving person and a, you know,
Or
contributing
just
member of
achieving
society.
goals. If you want drugs and alcohol, go get them. That's a goal achieved.
Yeah.
If you got that, you've been a score. Like fuck, sometimes that shit's crazy.
Yeah.
You just
come
end
out
up
of it,
somewhere.
like,
You're like, well, fuck, I'm glad I got out of there. Like,
yeah.
but that's an experience, and that's a goal achieved at the end of the day. Like, you could do the same with buying some timber or fucking. Yeah, true.
Well, this is the thing too, though. It's a progressive thing, and it won't happen immediately. And a lot of the people that are in those situations where they're living off the benefit now will die on the benefit if they want to before this thing happens. But their kids won't have to.
Yeah.
You know, and their kids will be able to get all the food and stuff that they need in the meantime while mum and dad are off spending the benefit check on piss or whatever. Like, you know, if this is all worst case too. I'm not saying this is everybody on the benefit. Like, there's lots of people that are using it for fucking good things and providing for families and whatnot. But in the worst case scenarios and in the ways that the money's being spent in the worst ways, those kids will then have the benefit of being able to go and get themselves good food and still have all of that and still be able to provide that for themselves, which means they'll have more energy, which means when they get to school the next day, they won't have brain fog, which means they'll be able to learn, which means they'll be able to grow up to be a better person. You know, like, there's so many benefits of there being access to things that keep you alive consistently, and how much that affects you, what you can intake and what you can give out in terms of the world and you know? So yeah, I don't see it doing anything but good as long as it's done in the right way.
Do you reckon the education system would have to change there?
I think the education
It
system is
needs to now.
it's
but-
yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. For me personally, bro, I think we should just be giving kids like a bit of a freer rein in terms of
fuck.
how they like explore with the internet, the amount of
Mm.
age of information that we have right now. I think kids should be able to sort of like have some sort of learning device that is focused on that somehow like categorizes all the information from the internet. It's like an idea I've had. It's called like Blackboard, right? And you just have, it's like an iPad, but the AI condenses all the information of any trade in the world, from a doctor to a plumber to a barista, and it puts all the step-by-step things that you need to learn from a child's age to an adult university level age of that thing, and then you can go step through all the steps that you need to learn at whatever rate that you want to, like, so kids can
true.
learn specific things really in depth at a young age, or they can learn lots of
Specific
different
to
things.
them.
Yeah, something that they really like, and they can pursue it beyond what an individual teacher can, because the individual teacher can't have that much depth of knowledge in all aspects.
Or interaction with 30 kids in a day.
Exactly.
Like,
So yeah, but I mean, look, the education system is it's a wild one, but I feel like everybody's going to have more time to focus on stuff like that when they don't have to worry about just surviving and getting by. It's like, send the kids to school. Why? Because I have to go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have time to teach my kid everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'll teach him stuff when I get home and I'll tell him my bits, but
For that 1 hour.
for that 1 hour. But other than that, I'm just going to put it down to the education system, which I'm going to complain about for the next 18 years. But it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we're all here and we're all fucking still doing it.
Where did you go to high school?
Dannyvik, bro. Dannyvik
true.
High School. Yeah, man, I'm DVK all
Shit,
the
you're
way.
Central.
Yeah, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, CHB. Yeah, man, it was good. I have no regrets, bro. I got nothing but good things to say about Dannyvik, man. I always like to make a note of it, though, because a lot of people don't. They're like, fuck that place. I'm so glad I'm out of there. I'm like, nah, bro. That was a great place to grow up, man.
Same with me, but I always rep Flex when I can. Like,
Yeah.
that's where I was brought up. I love Flex. Flex is amazing. But just with the like the high school stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking. The Steiner.
Yeah. Steiner's
That way of
great,
thinking is cool, man. Because Raw Combat, the kid.
Yeah, G.
Yeah, so he.
Yeah, I know Roy cut his hair for a while. He's a good dude.
So I'm mates with his brother, but I didn't know that his academy he made was. I'm sorry, bro, if I'm fucking this up, but apparently in their last year, they have to make a business idea or something, and then come up with all the ideas of like this is how it'll run, and that's like their schooling.
So you get to your last year and you're making a business.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
bro,
he just actually did the business.
So on.
This is what I heard. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but
That's
I know they do their markets every year, and the kids do that.
That's
they come up with like, I'm going to sell these, and you buy beans, and so that's how it works when they're child. So
yeah, kids
surely this is. I hope it's correct, but someone will tell you.
I mean, either way, I think it's a great concept.
That's a great idea. Though. In year 13,
12 and 13, because I mean, everyone leaves and has no idea how any of that stuff works,
Well, I mean, I just wish I was taught about money, like saving and investing and all of that kind of shit. Like, fuck, be so much better than, I don't know.
Yeah, and kids, they'll have access to that stuff now, man, with the internet. But that's the thing is, like, you have to want to spend your time on it, and I think that's where compulsory stuff comes in and helps, because kids don't give a shit about that until later when they're like, why was I never taught about this? It's like, even if I did, bro, like, did you take economics, like, no, I didn't. And I thought it was about making money, and everyone who thought it was about making money went in there and went, it's got nothing to do with money. Yeah. And I've been learning about economics, and now it makes a shit ton of sense. Why? Because that mainstream economical thought has nothing to do with money, bro, at all.
It's just numbers, or
it's all
economy, like how things run.
So economical schools of thought are all based around value. So like, where is the value in the economy that is like essentially the starting cog, like that can determine the comparative value of everything else. So you could look at it from how good is the quality of the soil, right?
Yeah.
The quality of the soil will affect how good the food is, which affects how much you can sell, which means how much you can, and then on from there, right? Yeah. But nowadays, we're at a point where we look at value as something's utility, right? And what that means is like the job that it does and the value of that job. And this is after about, I don't know, maybe like 200 years of economical thought, maybe more. So it started with the whole physiocrat thing of like the earth, the quality of the earth, and then now we're at a point where it's like the quality of the task or the job that this thing can do, like
A hammer.
a hammer or a person or like whatever.
Yeah.
But before that, it was like not quite utility and like labor value, and that was all Marx and like all of that shit, like all of the stuff that the fucking Soviet like fucking all that whole era of like what's it called,
Cold War. Yeah.
communism and like all of
Communism,
that, and the false idea of that, or the false realization of that. It's like never actually come into fruition what he was talking about. But the point is that it was all based around the idea of labor value and the fact that the worker had more value than what their labor was worth, because as a business you not only have to pay for the fact that you're doing this job and outputting this much money for me, but also I'm taking your time away from you with your family and stuff. So I have to pay you technically more than you're worth to me as a business in order to pay for your time that you see as worthwhile. So like there's all sorts of crazy things within economical thought, but basically they're all fucking stupid, and they all talk about something that is a step away from the truth, which is that quite simply money is energy, and the amount of energy that is going into anything will be directly related to the amount of money that's going into it, and the amount of energy that we're capable of producing is directly related to the amount of money that there is within the system. And what that means is that as technology and stuff has been getting more and more advanced, there's more and more money in the world because there's more and more energy, because there's more and more people, which is why everything's getting more and more expensive and more complicated.
There's more things.
Exactly.
And then those have to be accounted for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the system always runs on the same thing, which is just what's important, and then let's put energy into that, and then money is energy, and then it all flows. But people aren't being taught that. People are being taught that there's the most important thing that happens within the economy is supply and demand, and how much people want stuff and how much people can make stuff. It's like, how much is, once people make stuff and they've got stuff to give to other people, how much are they spending on all of that and all of this? And it's like zooming up on a microscope a very obvious word that says, money is energy, and then zooming in and going, yeah, but what does all that mean? It's like, stop starting from a place where you have no grip on, like you have no perspective. Yeah. You're zoomed up. You need to zoom out and just go, oh, this is actually a really big picture. There's heaps of elements to this, and you can't just say, oh, it's all about supply and demand or whatever. But I don't know. The very long string of thought from a very unexperienced economist, but the more that I'm learning, the more that I'm realizing that it's just like every other facet of life which we have right now, whether it be politics, fucking psychology, like economics or science or anything like that. There is an infinite depth to everything, and there is 8 billion people on the planet, and there's probably fucking zero that fully understand any one thing to its complete depth and understanding. Yeah. Nobody knows anything completely. Yeah. But yet we're all trying to talk about stuff that we don't know hardly at all and have an opinion on. Like, you have to have a really educated population in order to have educated discussions about big concepts and ideas, which is why the conversation concept is so fucking simple.
Oh, dude, that's why I love it. I'd way rather have this combo with people than all this bullshit they're talking about at the moment, Bro, this is a way better chat.
Cut the fat, Yeah, what are we talking about? Yeah. Wars? Money for wars? No money for wars. I don't have money for wars. Sorry, no funding.
Yeah, I don't get how that's. But yeah, it'd be cool, man. Like, New Zealand's definitely like a self-sustaining country. It'd just be cool if we tried to do that. And hopefully, this is the start of it. Like,
yeah,
because is there more sheep per capita than people here? Probably. But, we can eat those.
Yeah, we can, bro. We can. Yeah.
Why are we buying food from another country? Like,
so crazy, bro. Fuck that. I'm thinking we'll wrap it up because but before we do, I always ask if people have a gem, any sort of wisdom or anything you want to give to the people as a one-liner. If you don't, no stress, but I like to chuck it out there just in case anybody has a bit of a nugget.
Just do shit, bro. Get out the house.
Yes.
That's it.
That's a good one. They're always good. I'm always like, oh, somebody's going to say, nah, G, but like, that's...
Just get out the house.
Get out the house and do shit. Fucking oath. Cheers for coming on, bro. Appreciate you. Much love, G.
Much love, my bro.
Fuck yeah.